now entering a dangerous liberty zone where God-given natural rights are held sacred and exercised. This is your warning. Tyranny, fascism, and censorship will not be tolerated. Ideas will be exchanged freely. Rigorous debate and open discourse is encouraged. If you are weak and your beliefs are fragile, you should leave now. Prepare yourself. We are now live on the Dangerous Liberty Podcast.
What is happening, and all of you great Americans out there? We are getting ready to have another great live show. I was not going to do this, but then, I don't know. We're going to do it. It's a must. We got to get it done. I was going to end up watching this. I thought it would only be better if I watched it with all of you, and we're going to go through and see what nonsense, what Candace slop we have today. There's nothing worse than Candace slop. There's Fed slop, then somewhere way down here is the Candace slop. That's what we're getting ready to watch. For those that you haven't heard the news, we have now found out that Mitch Snow is indeed the Zodiac killer. This is a claim that he made early in December. Look, the fact is, and he has a long history of this and talking to all kinds of different people out there, I think it really comes down to the con is not money. This guy, Mitch Snow, is desperate for fame and notoriety. That's what he really wants. The money is just going to be on, a cherry on top. So that's what this guy is, he wants to be seen. And he's nuts. He's delusional. He's clearly a pathological liar. He's willing to say and do anything possible to get people to see him and to get people to notice him, even though no matter how ridiculous his stories are or anything else. I want to say hi to everybody over in the chat. Look, I have been getting just a stream of comments, emails, everything else. Look, I appreciate all of your support more than you realize. I don't want to harp on this, but this is a wild time for our family, to say the least. But it's not going to stop us. They can continue to try to smear us, defame us, all the things. Doesn't matter as long as they don't show up in my yard, because they will not leave my yard. If they want to play games online, it doesn't hurt me. Look, I fought the Taliban. I could deal with Candace and her little freaking minions and these bots and all the other stuff. Like, it doesn't matter. Al-Qaeda, like these people at the end of the day are nothing when it comes. And you know what? It is a real, it's a good lesson. We get so caught up in our own egos, and we get so caught up in what people think about us. YouTube in general has really helped me with that, right? I have never really cared what people thought, or at least so I thought. But then you start getting hit with all these weird comments, and now this is a whole nother level where you got, like, I don't know what the real numbers are, but there's millions of people that just think that, that Mitch is a better person than me, and it's not about whether I'm good or bad or any of those other things. The fact is that we have, my wife, my family, we have spent our lives always trying to do better. We're far from perfect. But what I can tell you is that from the beginning of this investigation, all right, I have told the truth. When I have speculated on something or I've been wrong on something, I've come to you and I've said that. And we're going to continue to do that because the truth is important. And now we're in this middle of this ambush, and the only way through a near ambush is to assault through. And that's what we're going to continue to do. And we're going to continue to bring the truth to you. So here's what we'll do. I will prioritize super chats like always, and I will stop the video if I see a super chat, and we'll talk about what's going on. We'll see how many times I need to interrupt this lady, but the queen of lies will get dethroned. We're going to tear down her lies. We're going to tear down her throne of lies, and we're going to continue to fight back. And what I love to see, and I'm seeing this all over social media, folks, there has been a huge turning point, and pun intended. People are seeing what's going on. People are seeing her for who she is, and it's because of you. And the more of you out there, and I see you guys down there fighting in the comments, my YouTube channel, I really appreciate that. I see you guys on X fighting the good fight, pushing back on all this nonsense, identifying all the bots that we constantly see. Folks, before you start getting into any sort of discussions or back and forth with anybody on X, look at the profile. don't waste your time. If it is a bot, you'll see it. It's 3, 4, 20. I've seen a lot of these lately where these are accounts that are 20 years old or 10 to 15 years old, like all the way going back to like 2010. They have like 20 followers. You can look at it between the follower count and or just kind of what it becomes very clear to you that there's not a real person behind that account, or it's somebody that's managing 100 accounts. Anyways, so make sure you guys check that, look at that, so you're not wasting your time. I just happened to see this one. We're going to throw up this prediction. Candace Owens, next podcast will be a woman coming on the show saying Donald Trump sexually assaulted her as a child. Of course, she will be lying. It'll probably be Mitch in a wig. I wouldn't be shocked at that. Yeah, so first of all, if you guys, number one, if you haven't done so already, make sure you like, subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel, of course, you become members. We just started subscriptions. We got like 5 or 6 people on subscriptions on X already. So if you want to support us that way, I really appreciate that. What else? You guys know the rules. Look, we're here to discuss, debate, disagree, but what I'm not going to put up with is ad hominems or just nonsense. If you're just going to be a disruptor, a troll, we're kicking you out. Moderators, I don't even know if my moderators had a chance to jump in here, so I'll probably be doing a lot of moderation. I literally decided to do this 10 minutes ago, and so here we are. Anyways, let's do this. Let's go ahead and throw up, well, let's just watch the throw up that's going to happen here on the channel. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the screen, and we'll kick it off and see what old Candy has to say.
Like the new world order. Meanwhile,
rest now, brother. We have the watch.
And I'll say
this. Oh God, that was the hold on, let me fix this. Guess that was the intro. Got the wrong thing. Let's see what we got here. Here we go.
Programmers can't quite write the code specifically.
We're going to take this to YouTube.
We don't know, but I know.
what that mean?
Whoever your advisors are, fire them.
It's a woman.
This is one of those fun episodes where no matter who you are, there's something for you to be offended about. I am actually an expert on all matters that are fake. And
Oh my God.
Hold on.
I need a hug.
American planes are in disguise in Iran.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
It's not
You
talking
understand
to you.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Israel and child sex predators. It's kind of a thing. There's no Candace without Charlie.
Rest now, brother. We have the watch.
Podcaster Candace Owens. Stop.
Get your piece today.
No.
I don't even know what audio is playing here. Hold on. Give me just a second here, folks. We'll get this squared away. Let me add this split tab. We're gonna switch this around. Bear with me. We're gonna reverse this. I'm going to boom. Here we go. We're gonna get rid of her crazy chat. And I am going to share screen. You won't believe what happened while we were off the air.
He just spoke to me.
All right, here we go.
I heard his take on everything. But the result is that right now, what's happening in this country and really all over the world is that everything feels weird and wrong. That's why I kept saying last year that everything is fake and gay. It feels like we're watching a movie. It feels like we're all in the Truman Show, and
Hey, look, me and Jay Witt were streaming yesterday. And then when we got off, and I meant to call him today and I got busy because I wanted to know what was going on with that. But for whatever reason, he was told by YouTube. I had the same thing happen to me, I don't know, about a month or so ago. I was off. We were streaming. Everything's fine. It was cut off. I think it's Candace folks that are complaining and launching complaints against us. And then they take you off the air for 24 hours. And then they figure out that it was BS. But that happened to me twice. No explanation. No apology, no nothing. So I don't know what's going on with Jay Witt. As a matter of fact, I'm going to reach out to him now, and if nothing else, I'll send him a guest link, and we'll get him on here.
Around us are actually robots, and things have gotten so abnormal that even things that should be abnormal, like RFK sexting, which is what Tim Dillon's about to describe, feels like that's the most normal thing going on. Take a listen to Tim Dillon.
What a profoundly dysfunctional society we have. There's nothing to look up to. There's no one to be excited about. Really, the least controversial member of this administration is RFK Jr. Can you imagine? He's the least scandal-prone member of the administration. And every 3 days, there's another text leaking from him where he's like, open your mouth. I want to put my seed in you. And that's somehow the best part of this whole thing. His sex are nowhere near as, scandalous as like Kash Patel, the FBI director, is sitting there updating you on his girlfriend's country music tour. It's hell. It's absolutely hell. And Erica Kirk, God bless, tragic, and I'm sorry for what happened, but nobody knows why she's out there in a glittering pantsuit in a recreated tent that her husband tragically was murdered in, throwing merch out.
I mean, seriously, if you were the friend of Charlie Kirk, you were genuinely, that's my best friend. Would you be playing this drivel right now? I mean, would you? I wouldn't do this to my friend. Like, I wouldn't do that.
She's out there talking to Nicki Minaj. People are confused. What's going on? Those are the three words that sum up this whole entire mess that we've created for ourselves.
He's right. What is going on sums up how we all feel right now. And I also would like to mention here another confusing parts that we kind of didn't discuss enough. Another confusing part of that Barry Weiss interview that we should discuss more. Everyone was making TikToks about the stop, just stop, but actually the most effed up part about that interview was CBS's decision to bring Hunter Kozak to ask Erica a question. Again, who approved this? I want to know. I want to know who thought it up and who said, okay, yes, let's do it, because everyone involved in that process is what I think we're fighting right now. I think these are robots. There's no way that somebody comes up with that idea and then a team of people at CBS approve it. Again, they wanted to recreate the moment that Charlie died, but this time his wife was going to survive it. Hunter Kozak.
I was just thinking about this. Could you imagine if Candace Owens' husband was killed tragically, and hopefully that won't happen, but at some point in time, she's getting back on the air. And then every time that she gets back on the air, because she has bills to pay, she has lawsuits that are going to have to be paid here shortly from the French and others, got a lot of money to make. She's got to keep the grift going. So she's going to have to pay the bills. And then somebody comes on here, and even look, I think what she is doing is reprehensible. I find it disgusting. The more I watch, the more I've dug into what she's saying and what she's doing, the less I like her. I'll just be straight up. I think she's a disgusting human being. That's how I feel. That being said, if her husband died, okay, as much as I don't like her, and then she was coming back on air and just trying to make things work, all right, I would not. I'll just tell you right now, I would not go on there and like pick her apart on every little thing that she does now that she's a widow. Just wouldn't do it. I'm just telling you that right now. Now, what I would do is she's still telling lies. I would still be on there pointing those things out without a doubt, especially if it has to do with this and it's affecting millions and millions of people, and it's affecting the midterms, and it's affecting our political party, and it's affecting everything that Charlie put forward and built in his entire legacy. Yeah, I would critique all those things, but I wouldn't sit there and tear her apart the way that she is, Erica Kirk, and has continued to do so. It's disgusting.
Exactly. Last time we all saw him, Charlie died. Barry Weiss, bring him back. Erica's going to survive it. Now, to the computer programmers, I want you to know,
I agree.
To us humans looking into that, the part that you're missing is post-traumatic stress, displaced anger. Like, technically, Hunter Kozak didn't do anything wrong on that day at UVU, but I hate him anyways. That's how I feel. I hate him anyway. I don't ever want to hear his voice ever again, because he's the last person on earth that tried to stress out Charlie Kirk, right? Asking him a stupid question about transgenderism, then Charlie died. So it's not fair, but I don't like Hunter Kozak. I just don't. And I think that that's a normal human feeling, right? Bringing him back to finish asking a question, like this time Hunter's going to get to ask his question, that's not relatable to the rest of us. It actually makes people who have a soul feel icky. So I want everyone to watch that moment. I want to invite you to go backward and to rewatch that moment and the manner in which Barry Weiss tees up this excruciatingly odd question. Take a listen.
Erica, as you know, the last person that Charlie ever spoke to was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak. He was asking Charlie a question that day when he was shot, and he's here tonight, and he wants to ask you a question.
Hi there.
Yeah, I agree, Tammy. What a disgusting thing to play. I'm convinced she actually hated Charlie. Dear God, she's a horrible person. I can't believe this is reality. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
So it doesn't matter what the question is. I wanted to tee that up so you could see it. How does that make you feel? How weird is that? The way that I feel when I watch that clip is like when Barry Weiss goes home at night, she just plugs herself into the wall to charge. That's how I feel. I just feel like we're just different. I don't know what species that is or what computer program that is, but I can't relate to that. I can't relate to the idea that if Jackie O a few months later decided to do interviews, that they would be like, "Hey, Jackie,
Kenneth,
you down with us
Shaki
getting back
Yvonne,
into the
thanks for
car
fighting the
and we're
good
gonna
fight,
drive
Gary.
back to
I've been
the spot
supporting you
that
on
we took?"
X under the
Don't
name
worry, this
Chin,
time you're
praying
gonna
for you and your family. I
survive.
know it's not easy.
This
Thank you
time you're
very
gonna
much.
be in
I
the
appreciate
audience,
that.
but this time we're just gonna
We appreciate you,
recreate
buddy.
that.
Appreciate everybody supporting
That's
us.
weird.
Whether you're watching, super
So
chats,
the real question that I have
memberships,
going into this year
thumbs ups.
is how many of us
Oh,
humans
that's
are
one
left?
thing. Look, folks, this is what's happening right now, especially with our lives. So what happens with a live like this one is you guys give all the thumbs up. It's doing great video, but then it goes away. It's no longer alive, and now it's put onto YouTube as a normal video. Do me a favor, like go back on those videos, go back through all our videos and hit thumbs up on those videos. We are like, before all this started, I never had a video that rated under like 98% on the likes. And man, the bots, the candidatards, all of them are hitting our videos like they're like, high 80s. Some of them they've ranked down to like 78%. So if you guys don't mind, got nothing better to do, make sure when you're done with this, like, subscribe, all the stuff, continue to comment. That helps. After this video, just go back and do the same thing. That would really help us out, because what that does is it downranks us in the algorithm, and it keeps, and they know this. Look, this is strategic. They know they want to suppress our videos. That's what they're trying to do.
That's my energy in this year. How many humans are actually left? Because I think the war is already happening. And also,
I agree with that. Hunter Kozak.
What's going to happen now? What's in the forecast for humanity in 2026? Because we've clearly woken up to the fact that everything is fake and gay. And we are therefore now reaching an inflection point. The people that rule over us, they tried it the nice way, I guess. They increased the pageantry. They used even more pyrotechnics and fireworks, and it seems like we're not biting. We are still talking about Brigitte Macron being born a dude. We're also still talking about the Epstein files. I'm sorry. So what's the next step? What's going to happen? Are they going to just get crazier? Yeah, I think the answers last year taught us yes. They want to start rewriting laws. They want to bankrupt people for knowing the truth. A real headline today, by the way, Brigitte Macron, who was quite literally born a male and who quite literally committed statutory rape under the then French law against a 14-year-old student, has successfully secured a conviction against 11 people in France for cyberbullying.
Hold on a second. You guys see how she phrased that? And I don't think that was by accident. She said, the headline is that Brigitte Macron was actually born a man, and then she goes into what the actual headline is. Like, this is slippery sleazy stuff, the way that she does things. And again, she's reading the teleprompter. This is manufactured like this on purpose.
And the media is now, of course, trotting that out, pretending that that's proof that she's a woman. No, it is proof that France has now created laws and are willing to try people for telling the truth if the person who is lying feels bullied. That's what that means, just so we're clear. So if Rachel Dolezal is, as she is, actually born Caucasian and she's presenting as Black, and you go online and you say, hey, you're actually a white girl, she could sue you if she feels cyberbullied. That's what's happening in Paris. And I think that's kind of an understanding of what they're trying to make happen here in America. The deep state is insisting on passing speech laws, and they're going to attempt to bankrupt me for knowing the truth about Brigitte. Now, this is a longer clip, and it is so worth listening to because it's brilliant. I honestly think this is dark comedic brilliance from Tim Dillon. Again, perfectly explaining this exact moment in time that we are all in. So to tee this up correctly, essentially, Tim is discussing how our modern world and culture, we are all starting to realize, was created by powerful people who are into kids, like Jeffrey Epstein. And yet the media just wants us to move on and keep going. So take a listen to what he says here. He's just kind of recapping the moment that we are in right now.
This was our culture. For a very long time, it was
Thank you, Frank.
domination, evil, exploitation, bad, not good, but it was our culture. It was our culture, you know, and, you know, we're coming to terms with that. We're coming to terms with that, and it's going to take, it's a little bit of a pill to swallow, is it not? It's a little bit of a pill to swallow, huh? It's a little bit of a pill. It's a little
Power
bit of a pill.
Talks 22,
You ever
Maroon
get
Shirt.
sick as a kid and your mom's like, you
Andy,
gotta
a
take this
person
one.
of
And you're like,
interest.
ugh.
She should be.
She's like, this one is everyone that rules over you is a static pedophile. You're like, oh no, not this one. It's a little bit of a pill to swallow, but that's where a lot of this comes from. This is the runoff. What you're seeing now is the runoff of people living to pretend that that isn't true. It is the denial of that culture that has produced this culture. Listen up, I'll say it again. I'll say it again. I should be paid more for this, frankly. I'll say it again. It is the denial of that culture that has manufactured this culture of nothingness. It is the unwillingness to look that in the face that has produced slop. That's what it is. It is the discomfort that comes from facing the fact that your greatest fears are true. And you're unable to process that, so you dive into the Eras Tour. You backstroke through the, restaurant that serves the thing from the app that you saw.
Thank you, Liliana. Appreciate you.
You try to
And
vacation
everybody.
in the right place to take the edge off. You know,
Like,
it is the denial of truth that has delivered you.
hey, I'm just going to say this. I think there was a rewrite here. This is speculation, but I think she was going to cover some things that she decided she wasn't going to cover. So what'd she do? She ended up playing a bunch of Tim Dillon videos to fill the time slots. That's what I think. I think she was going to go hard. We'll see what happens later on in the video, but I think this whole Zodiac killer thing that Mitch has come up with, it might even be a bridge too far for Candace. So I think she was going to cover a bunch of that stuff and decided to deflect. And you know what? Let's throw in some Tim Dillon clips. I need to adjust my volume back here.
Here into nothingness, into emptiness, into a place where, do you want to see the amenities? The building is really nice, but you've got to see the amenities. The amenities are really over the top. The HOA is really high, but you have to see it because the amenities are so worth it. The amenities are amazing. There's this amazing room. You can use it if you have a party, like 12 to 15 people. You want to do a dinner. You can bring in a private chef. You can bring in a private chef. It's so amazing. They'll set right up and they'll do a dinner. You can actually bring in servers and a bartender. I've done it before. It's amazing. It actually connects to a terrace. What's great about it is it's actually for everyone in the building to use. You can reserve it, but it's very easy. You just do it on the app. Is the world run by satanic pedophiles? There's also a rooftop garden. It's amazing. I go up there. I have coffee all the time. You can go. So you get a special key when you come here, and it'll only go to your floor. So you don't have to worry about any of the security. And at the top of the building, there's a rooftop garden, and you can sit there, and you can even do yoga because it's actually super private. There's like alcoves. Right. So let me ask you, do you think that our civilization is run by like evil pedophiles that are murdering and torturing children? And next year the restaurant opens. So like I don't even want to talk about that.
And I'll tell you why, because we don't have the bot farms behind us. She does. So this is why this would not work. It would take hundreds of thousands, and she does. She has hundreds of thousands of bots. I don't know who these are funded by. I can speculate. George Soros, every country out there that hates the United States and or hates Israel. I think there's the Israeli lobby, right? You know, we have AIPAC, and there's problems with that, and there's criticism that we can go through with all those things. But there's also the anti-Israel lobby that's just as powerful. CARE, the Muslim Brotherhood. We have all these things going on politically that, by the way, are far worse than, in my opinion, than AIPAC. And you have far more criticism because they hate America. Israel needs America. All right, that's the thing. Like, that's, to me, is one of the most differentiating points out of all of this, is that Israel needs and wants America. Yeah, they want to influence us. They want to do things that sometimes don't align with our values. Okay, as does every other country. But there are other countries and other entities that hate America, that don't want America to exist, whether we're talking about China, whether we're talking about Iran, whether we're talking about just about every Muslim country out there. These people are not our friends, they're our enemies, and they are the ones that are pushing some of this too. I guarantee you China is pushing money into this. I guarantee you freaking every Muslim pact out there, lobby group, country, like they're all in on this. And that's why us just going through and kind of downranking Candace is going to help, because we don't have that horsepower behind us. So that's the biggest difference.
The restaurant, because it's literally so amazing and you can't have it right now. But within 5 months, we have a celebrity chef who's opening a restaurant. It's like Mediterranean, but it's also kind of like more on the Italian side. It's like super perfect. It's like amazing. It's great for like light bites in the morning. And then you can like even grab like coffee and breakfast, and then there's like a lunch, and then there's like a dinner. And even I've actually heard this. I can't confirm, but I've heard, that they can actually cater your party in the private amenity space. Like the restaurant can cater your party in the amenity space. Wow. That sounds really good. Why do you think that woman got shot in the face in Oklahoma? Well, anyway, if you want it, just speak to your realtor, because it's going to go really, really fast. We already have so many people coming back to see it for second and third showing. Cool. And I just heard.
Agreed.
That around the block, that
She's
like
cooked.
super exclusive restaurant that nobody can get into.
I guess I don't know that the whole can get any deeper.
Was there last night. Wow. Well, thank you for this info. You've given me a lot to think about. And it is the denial of that culture that has produced this one.
I just had to play that in its entirety because it's brilliant. It spoke to my soul when I heard it.
Like, what kind of a turd bag do you have to be to, like, I hate the Macrones. Like, if I have to choose between Candace and the Macrones, I'm going with the Macrones. I don't care if she's standing up or not. Like, high-fiving, we'll eat a croissant together. I'm good. Like, I'll take them over this woman any day of the week.
That's how I felt last year. I'm like, hey, guys, like, a lot going on right now. And it feels like they're just giving us more stuff, more materialism, more trash music, glittery suits, pyrotechnics. Don't understand that we are perhaps being run by society is being run by incredibly evil people, and it's been happening for a very long time. And I don't really care about the new iPhone that's dropping. I don't care you got into Mar-a-Lago last night. There's something more important that's happening here. And the droids keep droiding, right? They're fighting us and they're just kind of telling us that we have to accept this culture. And we're saying no. So I guess in summary, the battle lines have very clearly been drawn this year. You now have to decide what side you're going to take. Are you with the Sentinels? Are you with the human beings? I've decided very clearly, but I'm with the people. And I'm done holding them back because all of this is effing weird. And we're going to discuss even more weirdness that's going on. First, we're going to take a brief break and throw it to our sponsors. All right, you guys, if you are trying
Luckily, we
those stubborn pounds,
fast
your
forward
gut
to
health
this
might be
nonsense.
this at checkout. So we obviously have to discuss Fort Huachuca. Before we get there, about an hour before we went live, a bunch of people were messaging me saying that the Daily Wire had brought back my old YouTube channel. They had seemingly deleted it. Apparently, they just privatized it and they brought it back. And as you could see, they premiered an old trailer from when I was joining the Daily Wire. And if this wasn't a mistake, if this was not a mistake, because they put a card in the front that said this was shot in 2021. So what are they doing? They also did the same thing on Instagram. My old Instagram channel, they re-released my trailer from when I was first joining them. So clearly they're trying to get attention for something. And I can tell you what that something is. I love scooping people when they're just being weird. First, I should say, I did have a little bit of sympathy over this break. I would like to apologize to the midget horse. The midget horse never deserved the FU. There's nothing wrong with being a midget horse. And yeah, I was a little fired up and I attacked a small horse that probably did nothing wrong, if I'm being honest. Now, more broadly speaking, the reason I had sort of snapped at the end of last year is that it has been a very long road, as I showed you an example of me just trying to be fired like a normal person. Just so you guys know, in a normal world, your employer, if they fire you, that should be the last you hear of them. You should not then have them follow you to events, calling people to try to get you canceled from speaking events, putting pressure on people, lawsuits. That's actually toxic. And when I said to people that it was getting to a point where I felt like I was being stalked by them, I said this like privately. I said, I genuinely feel like when you break up with someone and you have a crazy ex, that was how it felt like being fired from the Daily Wire. Except in this circumstance, the ex broke up with you, but then I guess like maybe changed their mind or just didn't want to see you move on and be happy or successful. There was an element of this that felt, and I truly am not trying to be dramatic here, it felt like a crazy ex stalker. Like, if I can't have you, nobody can have you, you know? And so to connect this point, to build this corollary for you guys, that was how I felt. That was what I was expressing to you at the end of last year, that I was done with it. Right? I was like, I'm leaving Daily Wire in 2025, come hell or high water. Well, they want hell or high water because it turns out the reason they're doing this and doing it on my channel is because they are trying to hard launch a young woman named Madison Bransford. Okay. Now she's apparently an intern at the Daily Wire, and they're basically dropping like an iCarly type Nickelodeon feel show where she's going to make fun of me. And the show is entitled In the No-No because apparently they watch every second of my show, which they've been doing for a very long time. They used to send clips and have people make fun of me when I was first getting started. And so now, because they still can't let me go, and since Ben is now on stage bringing me up and saying, we don't know, but we know, like it's giving crazy ex-stalker. They're now launching a show with this girl. I'm sure she's a lovely human being. It's basically like they tried to find someone that's similar to Brett, but it's not at all because it's not mature.
Texas Boy Mom, thank you so much for defending the truth no matter what. Praying for you and your family's safety. I love yours and Jay Witt's podcast. He's how I found you. God bless. Yeah, Jay Witt's is just an awesome dude. If you're not following the Jay Witt podcast, make sure you follow him. Apparently, after last night's stream, he got cut halfway through or whatever else. Luckily, he was on mine, so that's still broadcast. But regardless, I don't know. It's more games that YouTube plays, and I think it's more indicative of a very well-funded and organized psyop. I believe Erica knows exactly how Charlie really felt about Candace, but won't stoop so low as to air it. What else can we do to help Gary? Stay tuned on that. Look, I am filing civil litigation. We're going to see what that looks like on a couple different areas and where that goes. And you know what? If you guys want to help out with that, we'll see. We'll see. That's not something I like to do. Don't like to ask for money. Anyways, but what you can do, again, go back after our lives, go upvote those things, go upvote all our videos, just go through and like the crap out of them. If you want to become a member, a monthly member, that really helps here. And then also we do have subscriptions on X as well as on, I can never remember this stupid. Anyways, where our newsletter is down below. I will tell you, right? Substack. I can never remember that name. Anyways, if you want to become a contributing member on our Substack, you can do that as well. And we appreciate the support. Yes, Mitch deleted that his, so I want to give credit where credit is due. First of all, I was the first one to post that whole thing and that's because my producer, J-Dub, is the first one that I know of that found that post of Mitchell claiming that his father was indeed the Zodiac killer. I posted it early yesterday and I tagged a bunch of other pretty big name people. They started posting it and we've had fun with it ever since. But it just goes to show you how crazy and delusional this guy really is. Sorry to hear you're getting threats. Let me scroll this up. Sorry to hear you're getting threats for reporting the truth and exposing liars. You are definitely over the target. Stay max. We got your back. We'll continue to support you, brother. Scouts out. Thank you, Roman. I know you guys do. Man, very, very thankful for all our viewers and supporters. We're still in this fight because of you. Understand that. We are in this fight because of you. If I was sitting here with one viewer, I'd still be screaming about all this stuff at the top of my lungs. But we are having a significant impact because of you, because of your sharing this stuff, because you're joining in the fight. All the little things that you guys are doing, don't think they're little. They're big. They are contributing in a massive way. And we got to make sure that the American people aren't so silly to believe this nonsense. Pat Brooks, thank you. Gary, thank you for your courage, integrity, and fighting for the truth. We have your back and support you 100% and appreciate all you do. God bless you and your family. God bless you, buddy. Thank you very much. New here, grateful to find our community of logical thinkers. Candace is a narcissist to a T. She is literally the one acting like a crazy ex. I agree with that assessment. Daily Wire needs to tighten up the ship. Candace is getting a lot of inside info. I don't doubt that. Wow, she's hitting all the companies that fired her with her circular rants and no facts. Maybe she should realize that she was fired due to her incompetence. And here's the thing. Again, if Candace didn't have double standards, she'd have none at all. She's been going off on the Daily Wire long before the Daily Wire or Ben Shapiro ever responded to her. When she was leaving, they had that back and forth, but she's never let it go. She constantly brings up the Daily Wire. She's brought up many other places that she's worked for. She's always going off on people. She's always attacking people. And then she's like, oh God, they're attacking me. Like this is some big surprise. Yeah, they're going to push back on your nonsense. And then when you're saying the dumb things and doing the dumb things that you are, it's right for them to highlight that. It's news. It really is. She was supposedly so close to solving her best friend murder case that she took 2 weeks off and did nothing. Yeah. No. Griff, that's continue. I need to start drinking again just to understand Candace as a fellow redhead. For the love of God, make this stop or I will find myself living in a van down by the river. Shouts out to the redheads out there. We're the rare breed. Thank you, Lucas. You're always hooking us up on the super chats, as is everybody else. Was at the store, grabbed another Zico, some Tango 4000 LRF. Anyone threatening Gary better pack a lunch. Appreciate everything you do. Thank you, Lucas. We appreciate you, buddy. We appreciate the support, the help, all those other things. I do want to talk about some things going on too, some other things that people are trying to attack us about toward the end of this. I'm going to write this down, but we'll get to playing crazy Candace here. The Queen of Lies continues.
And she's just going to make fun of this show. So that's what the Daily Wire has in store. I'm sorry to have scooped you on this new brilliant idea to hard launch something on my socials of somebody making fun of me. I'm sure you thought that was going to get some huge applaud. It's weird. It makes me uncomfortable, if I'm being frank. I'd like you guys to move on. I understand now. You're never going to stop. This is just what we are. You're forever going to obsess about everything that I'm doing. I think it's a bad idea. I would kill it if I were you guys, but I see that you've already made a significant investment. And I hope it works out. I hope a person dedicated to making fun of me in the note, I hope it works out for young Maddie.
It will.
Anyways, we now need
Don't worry.
to turn our attention back now that we've recapped how I'm feeling about the new year. We obviously have to discuss Fort Huachuca because it seems to have driven people insane. Okay? Insane. People are losing their minds ever since we mentioned Fort Huachuca, which signals to everybody that Mitch is telling the truth. Okay? Now, I should tell you that if Charlie were alive today, they'd be calling him demonic. They'd be calling him possessed. They'd be saying that he was crazy for not trusting the government because he was honest. He had an honest perspective about psychological operations. He noticed them. He knew the government was behind these psychological operations, just like the one they have put in place since Charlie was assassinated. Here's what Charlie had to say back in October of 2024 regarding the CIA and MK Ultra. He is speaking with Justice Smith. Take a listen.
Do you think the MK Ultra project ever actually ended, or just went?
No,
under
we
a
have.
new
I
name?
mean, we have no evidence that it ended. And I mean, also we have Operation Mockingbird too, which was another CIA program, which was that they were going to take over all the news networks and have symmetry in their broadcast communications. No, the Central Intelligence Agency is actively involved in mind manipulation of people here domestically, and that is completely against the CIA charter. You must understand, we have Congress, and they're just kind of like a peanut gallery. And then we have a super government that exists above Congress of the Department of Defense, which is the Pentagon, the Central Intelligence Agency, which is its own thing out in Langley, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They run the country. The intel agencies run the country.
Look at that.
I agree.
People don't run the country. The executive branch doesn't run the country. This is why they hate Trump, because Trump was the first candidate since JFK to actually want to declare war on the intel agencies and bring the power back to the sovereign. And both him and Kennedy got shot.
Yes, well, I am just in many ways. I think it would just pain Charlie to see everything that's happened.
Oh, it would pain him to see everything that's happened. You were absolutely right, but not in the way that you think. And again, this is this false comparison. If this is true, then this has to be true. All right. The idea that old Mitch walked into a secret meeting at Fort Huachuca is just the dumbest thing. It's so dumb. And then what you take something that's so dumb, forget about all the other stuff that we know about him and the fact that he is a pathological liar and his father is a Zodiac. Forget about all that. The claim on itself is so dumb. And then you take that claim and you say, oh, let me play this clip of Charlie Kirk where he's saying MK Ultra is true. And because that's true, this has got to be true as well. Or let's say that it's a stupid claim being made by a con artist that is desperate for fame and notoriety. That's what the real problem here is. And this is the constant false, the false comparisons that she's putting up to as proof. It's so dumb. It's so illogical. It is the stuff of children. And I don't understand how so many Americans can fall for the nonsense. It really is frustrating.
Since he passed, I think it would just pain him to see what Trump has become. He's become a deep state, obviously, and never have I ever seen a more aggressive psychological operation or a more obvious operation, for that matter, than everything at the intel agency.
Look, she just revealed it. All right. This is what this is all about, really. It's about taking down the Republican Party. It's about taking down Trump. It's about stopping the MAGA movement that Charlie was integral in starting, continuing, and getting Trump reelected. This is the real problem. She is not a conservative. Her followers are not conservatives. We now have very good evidence that the Antifa movement has overtaken and hijacked the entire Candace Owens thing. We know that the left has hijacked her entire movement, whatever we got going on here. It's always been full of never Trumpers, and is like, I get into arguments with these people all the time down in the comments. And the first thing they bring up is like, oh yeah, you know what? She's lying just like Trump is lying, right? Because Trump is the real liar, and like all these stupid arguments down there. Like, this is This is the real scam right here. All right. She is trying to take down Trump indirectly through all the claims that she's making. She's tying Trump to Israel. They're tying J.D. Vance to Israel and Peter Thiel. This is all the scam. This is what's really going on behind the curtain, folks.
Have been trying to impart upon the public since Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Until, I should say, and relatedly, I saw what happened after we brought up Mitch Snow. Okay, so let's recap what happened in case you forgot. I mentioned Fort Huachuca on my show, and apparently the world exploded and imploded at the exact same time. The story was pretty simple. I was contacted by someone claiming that he was very certain that he saw two people at Fort Huachuca in the days leading up to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Okay, he contacted me specifically about Brian Harpole and Erica Kirk. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to have him on the show because.
All right. Again, context matters. She started off that show saying that after you watch this show, there's going to be no other choice but for the U.S. government to admit they're involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. That's how she started this. And again, she's always lying. There's always deceit going on with what she has to say. While I have a pause, I want to go ahead and play this, show this super chat. Melinda Helton, 1851. I've learned so much from this show on the TR case. You're doing great work with all the others. LLC and Jay Witt are some of my other faves too. Stay safe. Thank you very much, Melinda.
He saw, to be clear, Erica Kirk on the 8th leaving the Candlewood Inn Hotel on the base on Fort Huachuca. She was with somebody who looked similar to Cabot Phillips. We're going to discuss him tomorrow. And then they were just leaving the hotel. Then he says he sees that Cabot Phillips looking special force type person the next day with Brian Harpole. And he's basically 100% certain he saw Brian Harpole at this top brass meeting.
Okay, understand this. Cabot Phillips, who's not special forces. All right. As far as I know. I've looked that up. I don't think he is. But here we have Mitch. I'm 99% sure he's not. I probably should look that up. Mitch is saying, look, I know this guy's special forces. Without a doubt. You just know. You can tell. Come to find out, it's Cabot Phillips, who's not special operations. I'll double check that part. But regardless, we have now gotten a very clear alibi from Cabot Phillips. So far, what we know for sure, whether you want to accept the Brian Harpole alibi, again, I have his itinerary. We've shown that. I understand that there's some wiggle room in there, if you will. I have also seen other documents that he's not willing to share publicly for privacy reasons that I can tell you for sure he was in Dallas, but forget about it. Okay, the fact is Cabot Phillips is now, and she's even admitted that he was not there. Congressman Amadei, however you say his name, he was in the chambers of Congress that day. He's on video. We know that's not true. Erica Kirk, I'll just tell you, there is absolutely solid proof that she was not there. Again, it's one of those things where she doesn't feel the need to prove this lady wrong, but the evidence is there. And there's some other circumstantial evidence, things that Frank Turk said prior to all of this, where he went walking with Charlie on the 8th. It's clear indication that the kids are in the house with Erica. It's just all blown up in her face, and yet she won't let it go.
That took place on the morning of the 9th, a meeting which was concluding on the morning of the 9th around 7:30 a.m. He sent me all of the receipts to back this up. Okay. Again, wasn't sure if I was going to have him on the show. Felt weird about asking him not to tell us the part about Erica Kirk because I was more interested, obviously, in the meeting because of the manner that he described it. Like, this is a final meeting.
So again, this guy Mitch told her about Erica Kirk. I just want to point out another point of hypocrisy and the fact that she's not interested in truth. The first story she relayed, she withheld that information. And then just a few days later, she goes and meets with Erica Kirk. Why on earth didn't she ask Erica Kirk about that? If she was operating in any sort of good faith, why would she not ask Erica Kirk about that? Also, I'm 90% sure that it was after the second viewing of that show, she reached out to Brian Harpole. So the second show of Fort Huachuca. it doesn't matter. What I do know for a fact, it was definitely after the first one. I'd have to check with him to see what the dates are on when she texted him. She did not try to text him and get that information until I released his itinerary. She DM'd me, asking me, and was just completely pissed off about the fact that Andrew Colvelt sent information to me. She's like, there was clear contempt that they sent it to me, didn't send it to her. All right. So, like, there is nothing about her that's acting in good faith. And then she wants to act all crazy. Her and her, her surrogates want to act crazy when I give Mitch a call and want firsthand information. Oh, that's like real journalism. Can't have that.
Before an operation.
Smear
What would
first,
Brian Harpole be doing
get
there?
alibis later.
What sort of an
That's the
operation
fact.
are we talking about? Now, we couldn't jump to conclusions at that point because maybe Brian Harpole was going to say, oh, yeah, I was there. I was there because I was picking up something from my brother. Maybe Erica was going to come out and say, yeah, I was at Fort Huachuca base because my mother has DOD contracts and I'm very familiar with this base and I was going to see a friend. We didn't know what to make of anything other than he said that he saw these two people on different days. Again, to be super clear, he did not see Erica at the meeting on the morning of the 9th. He saw her the night before, allegedly, obviously. That was the allegation. What happened after we allowed Mitch onto the show to share his story was, it was just madness. It was kooky. What happens next is Alex Jones, of all people, the guy who brought us the gay frogs, and a couple of YouTubers that nobody had heard of, began a very aggressive effort to go after Mitch, right? To say, nope, this guy is illegitimate. We shouldn't listen to a single word that he says. Quite literally, Alex Jones went onto his show and declared war on me. I've never said a bad word about Alex Jones ever. In fact, only good words.
That's a lie.
I've spoken about Alex Jones. I said he's always been good to me. I've played clips of him. I said he's very funny. And he's going to act like I've attacked him, never spoke to him about Mitch Snow, nothing. Listen to Alex Jones quite literally declare war on me. And this is over Mitch Snow. Take a listen.
I remember saying to them, like I said, I got to investigate her now. I got a bad feeling. I didn't have a bad feeling. God gave me a good brain. I already knew. I dropped the ball. I apologize. She's a globalist agent. I dropped the ball and I failed you and I'm sorry. I got to follow my gut every time. It's never wrong. And I saw so much more she did. And I love her people threatening me and all their doxing of people and all that. You think that's going to make me go away? All you did was wake me up like a nuclear test site waking up Godzilla. So just get your asses ready. Because you want a war, I want your war, I want it all, I want the doxing, I want the lies, I want the attacks, I'm going to take you on. Because you work for the deep state and the Democratic Party and the CIA and MI6, and I see your ass. So you just get ready.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, points for entertaining. I have no idea what he's talking about. I don't know. Good luck. I hope you do it. I hope you go after whoever it is. If the attacks are in the room with you right now, Alex, let us know. Okay. I literally have no idea what he's speaking about. I was off air and Alex Jones was just burned.
First of all, this is all a lie. All right. Her attacks on Alex Jones. Look, we have all of her surrogates, and her surrogates consist of Ian Carroll, Baron Coleman, Project Constitution, Diligent Denizen, Ryan Mata. I'm sure I'm missing 2 or 3. Oh, Meg the Crazy Cat Lady. These, and on top of that, all the direction of all these bots and everything else were directed at Alex. I know this for a fact, as well as me, and the same thing is going on with, so they were the ones, she shifted fire towards Alex. They were already doing it to me. Now, here's where we have good solid evidence of the fact that there is a coordinated effort with her. Number one, this entire orbit of people have been on this since the very beginning, coordinating information. She's, shouted out Ryan Mata, Ian Carroll, all these people. All right. So they have been in coordination. We know that Baron Coleman, he was just showing a text or a picture that he got from Candace Owens to begin with. Look, it's all part of the scam. And this is part of a network of disinformation. This is what they do, and they have been doing. Now, on my text message was the first time, or my DM from Candace was the first time that I knew or was told that Mitch had actually recorded me on that phone call. She told me, she's like, I have the recording of that manipulative phone call that you had with Mitch, and I'm thinking about playing it. Then a couple days later, she had her space. All right, so she had her space. She brings it up again. She says, I have the recording of, I don't even know if she used my name. I'm just some random YouTuber guy that nobody knows. So she said it again there. A few days later, we have Stu Peters, like a dummy, release this illegal recording of me. And then on top of that, he slanders me all through the post. Legal actions following. All right, I've already pressed charges on Mitch Snow. I'm waiting for the DA to get back to me on that. I talked to the law enforcement about it. They're well aware of what's taking place. There's already other charges pressed. There's a lot going on with Mitch Snow. Oh, and by the way, he did pack up his house and move out. We also know that. So again, what she did was she didn't want to have the heat of actually releasing that phone call. It's illegal. It opens herself up to lawsuit. So what did she do? She gave it to one of her simps to take the heat for her. And Stu Peters actually released that phone call. Oh, and by the way, not only did they deceptively record the phone call after asking me not to record, they did. On top of that, they cut out 30 minutes. Where's the other 30 minutes, Mitch? Put the other 30 minutes in there. I know why the other 30 minutes aren't in there. So they've edited the video. They don't know how to act any other way but through deception and lies. That's what they do. That is how they work, period. Miss Saunders before him, look into her husband. He is a spook. Look into her father-in-law. Look at the Russian wives. Look into the man who introduced her to a farmer who ate these people. I have been looking into them. Just know that is underway. Thank you very much, Annie Morgan, for becoming a member. We appreciate you. Consider this about her making money. Her shows are never live and never more than 1 hour. Come back tomorrow for more explosive lies. Yes, it's a sitcom. It's a drama. In 2020, she exposed Black conservatives, Kay Klachik, accused of trafficking to ruin campaign, and Tree Logic YouTuber cop she docks for daring to question her funded by the libs. Yeah, and that probably has been going on for a while. I definitely think she is now. She accused uses everyone else of what she does. She does. It's absolutely. I can't tell you how much I appreciate. Almost forgot to click it. Tammy McDonald says, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you telling the truth. God bless you and your family. We can't let these lies go unchallenged. God bless you. You too, Tammy. Tammy, you're a warrior out there on social media, and we appreciate you. I see you down in the comments and on X. Amy W says, I hate what's happening. What's she doing? Bothers me so bad. I want to stop thinking about it. I agree with you. Couldn't agree more.
Himself, getting fact checked. People are attacking him because he's lying about what I've said. He's pretending it's personal. Like he and I had a conversation, or like I went after him on the show. I don't know what that is. Then I would eventually find out exactly what it is. First, the efforts from Alex Jones and these YouTubers. Well, first, they played like they were friends with him. So you had this Paramount Tactical account in Valhalla who called up Mitch and pretended to be a brother, like a brother in arms. Yeah, brother. Yeah, we're trying to help you. We think, kid could be potentially funded. This is, Paramount Tactical, potentially working with foreign agents, and like, you're one of us. At the exact same time, they had Ian Carroll calling me, and Ian Carroll was being a friend, and he's like, hey, you should get on the phone with them and you should come out against Mitch because Mitch is a fraud and Mitch was never in the military and it's going to be really bad for you. Like, you need to make a statement against Mitch. So just to make that clear, they're trying to pressure Mitch to say something against me and trying to pressure me to say something against Mitch, to believe that Mitch was a fraud, and to have Mitch believe that I was a fraud.
No, that's a lie. I never tried to get Mitch, and neither did NATO or Valhalla. That's, again,
fraud. That struck me as odd. I did not take the bait. Then after, through a third party effectively threatening me and saying that lawsuits were going to be coming if I did not go back on my word of allowing, Mitch to be on my platform and share his story, that there were huge lawsuits coming. And I explained to Ian Carroll, I was like, Ian, this is not how lawsuits work. They didn't send me a cease and desist. What have I done wrong here? Then they said that he was never, that it was like stolen valor. He was never in the military. And then they had to admit that,
Never
no,
said he
actually,
wasn't
Mitch
ever
was in the
military.
military, but they
Never
were
said that.
ashamed because he was a really bad dude who abused.
All right, look, I'll just let you know right off the bat. Of course, and it's still weird to me that he was actually a Green Beret. I'm not sure if I ever said, I may have said, man, I don't think he's a Green Beret. I always knew that. Look, I've been down this road before. There's been a couple of people that I'm aware of in the public sphere that you would bet your left arm that they're not like a Navy SEAL. And then come to find out, whatever they're claiming, come to find out it's true. Just one of those people that, I don't know. Some people just get really out of shape after they leave the service. So there was always a part of me. Number one, I never thought he wasn't in the military. I was quite sure just some of the vernacular he was using that he was in the military. I did think that there was a chance that he wasn't a Green Beret. But what I said was, we're going to find out. That's what I said. And I was going to turn him over to Guardians of the Green Beret, and we would get that information. That's what I said. I think Nate definitely said some more definitive things, like he's definitely not a Green Beret. I was never definitive, for sure. And I don't really care if I was. The fact is, look, this guy is not like a Green Beret that I've ever seen or served with. That's a fact. But I always thought there was a low possibility, and come to find out he was. Now, I have since found some other information that I'm trying to confirm regarding all that. Anyways, that's just setting the record straight on that.
Used women in the past, and then they brought out the said women onto their platform. Like suddenly we are being brought into Jerry Springer, and they had to absolve his past. Everyone's like, what does this have to do with Fort Huachuca?
Everything.
Can Suge Knight see Brian Harple at a military base? Like, do I care about Suge Knight's history? What does this have to do with anything? This is just illogical. So when the public didn't bite on that, they then said that it probably wasn't even true that he was at Fort Huachuca because he was a pathological liar, and they could prove if this was a bad dude and a pathological liar. So I then dropped the military police reports, the actual incident reports from what happened on the base on that day, which proves that Mitch told the
Again, she's misrepresenting everything that was said from the beginning. And you guys know, because I have a whole montage of it. Maybe I'll play it here in a little bit. Of from day one, I said, I guarantee you he was there. I think he was there. That's not the point. The point is that there was no chance of him or anybody else walking into a secure brief. Zero chance. That's not how these things work. And I also knew after a phone call real quick that Brian Harple was not at Fort Huachuca. And then we got additional information from that. So after that, so understand what's going on here too. This guy's claiming he sees this guy. And then later on, Candace, after the shows, sends him photos of Cabot Phillips. And he's like, yep, that was him. That was him. She could have sent him any photos. James Bond, doesn't matter. Arnold Schwarzenegger. She could have sent all these photos to him like, yep, that's him. And the crazy part about this is his recollection after the fact. After the fact. Weeks after Charlie's actually killed, and by the way, he also was reaching out to in November, Officer Tatum, commenting on stuff with Officer Tatum. Nowhere in those comments, we found those comments. Nowhere in those comments did he say anything, hey, I have information about Fort Huachuca. He was just talking smack to Officer Tatum and a couple other things in those comments. That's also weird to me. Somewhere around December, early December, that he suddenly, about the time that he found out that his dad was the Zodiac killer, somewhere around there, his recollection kicked in and he remembered all these suppressed memories about Fort Huachuca and who was there.
Truth. So then they pivoted and they said the police report was fake. There were some points of it looked fake because it had typos. And this didn't look like a real driver's license number for driver's license for Washington State. And apparently police officers never make typos, right? Everyone knows these are like English students. These are authors. How could a police officer typo in a police report? Goalpost was moved again and again.
Nope.
And finally, they decided I'm not kidding here. They decided that as proof of how terrible of a human being that Mitch was, which again, I still can't compute what this has to do with whether or not he was at Fort Huachuca, but as proof, They were teasing this, and Alex Jones was teasing this. They were going to bring his son on. His son, who he has not spoken to since his son was 2 years old and who is now an adult man. They were going to bring his son onto the show to speak about Mitch. And accidentally, and quite hilariously, the son.
So understand, folks, I had 2 phone calls with his son prior to him coming on where he told me that they called him and like I already knew this, and they want to sit there and act like I was surprised by this information. I was shocked by this information. Like we had already talked about this 2 different times. I called him back. We had the first conversation. He brought it up. I called him back to get some more information. Like, what time was it? This is, again, it's just fabricated nonsense.
Acts like confirms that the incident at Fort Huachuca actually happened. Okay. Take a listen to that moment because it's perfection. It's hilarious.
You're a veteran, and I don't know. Have you watched his claims on Candace Owens? Do you know what he's talking about?
I watched some of them very briefly. I can only stomach so much of that bullshit. They're not going to let him go into anywhere ops center or anything like that. Yeah. On any post, not Huachuca, not Carson, not nowhere, not in the States, not abroad. They're going to make him go through the same center that everybody goes through to get his ID, get it renewed if he doesn't have it to that point. They're going to let him go to the commissary. They're going to let him go to the PX, maybe some of the other amenities on the post, but he doesn't have a security clearance.
Or if he does walk into the Joint Task Force staff duty, he might end up detained and outside getting the canines called on him as per this report, which, again, I don't even know if this report is real or not. There's so much craziness going on with this report.
I mean,
plate number.
They called me on September 9th, asking me if I knew anything about a Mitch Snow, and telling me that I was listed as his number 1 emergency contact. And I just remember sitting there for like a minute, like, I don't know a Mitch Snow. I don't know why I'd be on somebody's emergency contact list.
Let me tell you something. This is not the burn she thinks it is.
Oops. Not what they had planned. So yeah, Fort Huachuca, everything he told us happened that morning on the 9th happened. And they also called his son because they probably looked up at his son. Was his son. And yeah, oopsies. So then they pivoted again to hosting a stream to rather gloriously and definitively declare that Erica had an airtight alibi on the 8th, or at least they were confused about dates and didn't realize that we were speaking about the 8th. And this is when things went very sideways and revealed that Andrew Colvett was actually the hand behind the scenes communicating with these people, these obscure people who were obsessed with Mitch's past.
People.
Paramount Tactical is live, and he accidentally reads his instructions from Andrew Colvett, but couldn't read fast enough to the part where Andrew Colvett says, please don't show this. Take a listen.
He was saying, I asked him, do you have proof of this? He says, but it's worth saying Erica wasn't in some fort in Tucson. The internet's gone insane. She woke up next to Charlie on the 9th, went to the office with Charlie all day, woke him up from a nap before a Fox hit, went to dinner with Charlie. Literally, people are lunatics. And then the next one, proof, she was with her kids at 8:33 a.m. Pacific time, which again, in September, Arizona's on Pacific time. Taking them for a walk. Apparently I wasn't supposed to share that. But anyways, point being is that's 8:33 a.m. It shows the date on that. Sorry, Andrew. I screwed that up, man. I was trying to run a podcast and do everything else.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You should be sorry. I'm sorry for Andrew too, because that's what pissed me off. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you guys. That was upsetting to me because we had all suspected that Turning Point was behind this. We had suspected that they were the ones, and I can confirm to you because also Alex said that he was in community.
And again, let me read you that text string. It's because it's important to understand this. just so you guys, and it was already on. It was already on Alex Jones. I hadn't talked to Andrew in forever. Since I had been on the show. So we had AmFest in between there. So I reached out to him. I was getting ready to do that podcast. I knew that we were going to be talking about that. I was like, what the heck? I mean, it won't hurt anything. Hey, let me reach out to Andrew and see, good just investigative journalism. Let me just see if he's willing to give me an alibi for Erica. Let's see where the beginning of this is. Oh, here we go. I said, hey, Andrew, hope you had a great time at AmFest. I'm doing an expose on Mitch Snow tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So is Nate over at VFT and Jesse on Fire, who are both no friends at TPUSA and still wholly aligned themselves with Candace at 8 p.m. Can you provide anything proving Erica's whereabouts on the 9th? I know I've heard she was with her mother. Even give me a statement to confirm that will be helpful. Hard evidence is obviously better. So we had been hearing this rumor that she was with her mother at the time. Come to find out that wasn't true. Anyways, he goes on to say, but the point here is I solicited him that information. All right. So again, it's just pure not, and she knows that, by the way. She knows that. I have a DM's proven that, but there again, she's sitting here lying about what's actually took place.
Communication with Turning Point USA. The spokesperson is Andrew, obviously, and I confirmed that Andrew had been communicating with Alex Jones directly. But why that upset me was because they were willing to drag me through the mud to try to have me, I would say, threatened by these YouTubers, this very guy that then goes, oh, Andrew Colvett. And yet they wouldn't just communicate that directly to me. Like we were very open to him just having the wrong memory, being where he was.
She's accusing Andrew and everybody else of murder, and she doesn't understand why there's not an open line of communication. Like, she has zero, like, everything between her ears is mush. I mean, it makes zero sense to me whatsoever. Like, she is so disconnected with reality. It's not even funny.
But maybe having the wrong memory and not having seen Erica or seeing Brian Harpole. So what is this actually about? Right? What is this actually about? And what was upsetting to me, especially first and foremost, because this makes no sense. Nobody accused Erica of being anywhere on the 9th, but yet we see her finger in there. We see that she is showing that she's with her kids on the morning of the 9th. And that to me ran counter to my meeting with Erica. I was left under the impression after my meeting with Erica that Andrew Colvett had gone rogue, right? A lot of the things that I was saying and Turning Point was saying the opposite thing. And I felt like they were trying to make me look like a liar, right? The Charlie Kirk Catholic thing, me speaking about the threats that Charlie received the day before he died. And then when Turning Point would come out and issue a statement, their excuse was like, okay, no, you were telling the truth, but Andrew Colvett went rogue. And to be honest, I wasn't exactly sure what to believe when I left the meeting. Obviously, I wanted to take time to digest those things. But I'm very clear that that's what I was told, right? They copped to the fact that, yeah, Andrew Colvett did receive that text from Charlie the night before, and Charlie was worried that he was going to be killed. But, Erica didn't know this information, and she was looking in his iMessages. Okay, so Andrew went so rogue that he didn't even communicate after Charlie was assassinated to the team that Charlie was afraid he was going to die.
Okay, it's also important to point out from this meeting that she also got to see all of Rob McCoy's or Mikey McCoy's call logs, and she's never exonerated him. She never went back and said, you know what? I just misread the situation. I shouldn't have been judging him so harshly in this extremely stressful situation. I was wrong about him calling somebody or being on a call. Like, she never did any of that. Never did any of that. She is the only one that's been dishonest in this entire thing. And yes, Erica wasn't aware of this message. And by the way, it wasn't talking about, well, you know what? I'm not even exactly sure where this death threat message was specifically. And I can tell you that the people that have read this don't know what this death threat was specifically. It could very well have come from all of the social media traffic that was going around, basically predicting his death. But they don't look into any of that stuff. She won't look into any of that stuff. This has to be the French. This has to be Israel. This has to be TPUSA. All she does is obfuscate and completely omit relevant information time and time again. And by the way, she had this entire tip thing going on with Mitch when she was sitting there in front of Erica. Why didn't she ask Erica to see if she had an alibi that night of the 8th? You talk about acting in bad faith. That's all this woman does.
Also, he was rogue apparently on the Superman text as well. Like, he was the one who issued that tweet and quoted the surgeon. I then told you that the surgeon never said that. That was not a quote from the surgeon. What I didn't tell you was that according to my source, which I trust very much, the person that was on that phone that said that quote was actually Erica. It was a 3-way phone call after my episode. I am told, again, these are two disputed narratives. Erica claims Andrew went rogue and also the surgeon went rogue and violated HIPAA. My source says that no, the surgeon did not violate HIPAA and he never said that, but he answered Andrew Kovet's questions because Erica was on the phone, and that the Superman quotation came from her, and they thought it was sweet because she was trying to grapple with things. And that's why I just abstained from telling the public that, because I thought maybe she needed to believe that because he died. And I was trying to be gracious.
She's never been gracious. Never once in this has she given any of these people that suffered a traumatic incident and loss of their friend, never once has she been gracious to them. All it has been is accusation of them being complicit in his murder. That is what she has done time and time again. Like, it's so obvious. Like, these people want to act like, when I don't know if the surgeon said it or Andrew said about the Superman neck. This is a guy that just lost his friend, is trying to spin this like he doesn't think he's going to be attacked, doesn't think that his words are going to be used literally. I mean, who thinks that he had a steel neck Superman? Like, this is just somebody getting out there and saying, you know what, this is what happened. Thankfully, for whatever reason, his neck stopped the bullet and didn't go through and kill somebody else. That's what he was saying. In a time of grief, in a time of heartache, trying to say something nice to the public about his friend. Or in this, now she's saying it was Erica that said that. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. But the fact is she's given these people no grace whatsoever.
I don't know what to believe. What I see now is that I'm getting played, because now I see that she's giving an alibi to Andrew, and Andrew's not going rogue. Okay. Andrew is being told to do these things. Andrew is being told to attack me and to attack my narrative. Andrew is being told to lie on my name. Andrew is allowing these attacks to happen, sitting there across from Alex Clark, like, Catholic, no, he just liked the architecture. And I no longer accept that he is just going rogue. Okay. That to me shows coordination. There's no other way to read it. So we have to sentence Andrew Kovet to more truth. That's going to be the new vibe. You lie, I tell the truth. So let's revisit the Hamptons. Okay. Remember that whole debacle? Another thing that I said to the public.
Debacle?
That Seth.
All right. I say weird stuff wrong all the time, so I'll give her grace on that. Let's hit some of these super chats real quick. Michael Watkins, thank you very much, buddy. I'm praying for you and your family. God bless. We need it. Thank you. PDH 33 WTF. Thank you, sir. She has to go after you immediately because she knows you're getting too close to ruining her whole fictional housewife crime series. Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. I just, like, it's so incoherent and silly. I'm just sitting back, feeling like I'm taking crazy pills, watching so many Americans be tricked by stupid narratives that just, like, I don't even have words to describe this. It's so crazy, and it's so disappointing that Americans would be tricked by this stuff. Thank you very much, Laura M. We appreciate you becoming a member. It's the greater good. Am I still blocked? No, you're not blocked. You're actually commenting, so I don't think you're blocked, bud. You are so a liar. Cool story, bro. You know, the other thing too is 99.9% of these accounts, they're anonymous accounts. They don't even have the courage to tell you who they are before they accuse you of things. At least I'll give that to Candace. At least you know who she is. A high-speed chase. Other than the grift, why else would Candace be doing this? Deep state motives, perhaps, would not surprise me. Thank you, Gary. Yeah, look. No, look, I don't think it's a grift. I mean, there's money involved. I think her primary motivation is spite, envy, and hatred. I really do. That's just my take on it. And she is so narcissistic that she sees the world as something. She makes conclusions before she has evidence to back those conclusions, just like she makes accusations before she has evidence to make those accusations. And then she looks for ways, and she is so convinced of her own worldview or her own view of any circumstances that it has to be true. And then so she goes after that. But I think a lot of this started out as just envy, hatred, and spite. I really do. And then it's grown into something more. And of course, yes, it is lucrative. Yes, it has built up her fan base. And I do think that this entire thing is being exploited by political actors, by foreign adversaries, all the above. There is about every single big money political groups and ideological groups, as well as just about every nation in the world, doesn't want a Donald Trump, doesn't want a TPUSA, because TPUSA is the most effective political power to get people elected. TPUSA is the reason, and Charlie Kirk was the reason that Donald Trump was elected. We know that for a fact. The numbers don't lie. He's been attributed to at least 2.5 million votes. We beat Kamala Harris by 2.33 million votes. So if they take down Charlie and then they take down TPUSA, they take down Trump. And then, by the way, they're going to continue to smear Trump all the way throughout this. And I don't know. I'll say this. I have said in the past that she's an unwitting accomplice that people are just exploiting. The more I think about it, the more I think she is aware. Now, I don't know if she has direct communication with these people, but the fact is that, you know, we have all of the cyber activity that is boosting her numbers and suppressing the opposition against her. That's what I believe. Dom C303, yes, Candace is a liar and a sociopath. Narcissists never admit they were wrong ever. Agreed. Imagine looking straight into the camera and saying that the guy who says his dad is the Zodiac killer is the truth teller. The cringe actually hurts. Yeah. Please tell Andrew not to respond and sue. That's up to Andrew and TPUSA. Can you look into the group called UNF America? We are looking into that group. We got a lot of stuff going on. Look, we have a whole team of great folks. And I say whole team. We got like 4 or 5 people that we coordinate with on X. And these are just people that support us, by the way, that are really good at investigating and care about it. You know, post on X. Like, there's no money behind this or anything crazy like that. These are just people that support us, and we've teamed up with, and people that I've worked with since Butler, by the way. I know these people. Anyways, long story short, we're looking into all this stuff. It's a little bit of a pause because of the attacks on us and just having to fight back a little bit. So all of this is a distraction to some extent, but it's a distraction that we can't afford to steer away from at the moment. But we're doing other things. We're talking and chewing gum at the same time, I promise you. Consider TPUSA meet with the feds to help. Consider TPUSA met with the feds to help protect Charlie Kirk. I don't know what you mean. No, I've heard nothing of that Charlie Kirker's security team met with feds. Now, when it comes to death threats, again, Charlie has gotten thousands and thousands and thousands of death threats, many of them credible, that yes, they were in constant contact with the FBI and other law enforcement where they were telling them, especially ones that really stood out to them, like, hey, we just want you to be aware of this. So, you know, the left has been trying to kill Charlie for a really long time. The left celebrated when Charlie was killed. And then they immediately pivoted. Everybody remember the first like week and a half where they said it was the right, that, you know, Tyler Robinson was some sort of right-wing nut that killed Trump. It's what they do with all these shooting events. And then come to find out, no, this person is actually left-leaning or a hardcore leftist.
Dylan was pressing Charlie. I said there was a smaller meeting that took place. I said Bibi Netanyahu called and he offered to take Turning Point to the next level.
Exactly.
And everybody had a lot to say. And
look, I take it as a badge of honor that Candace Owens has to even show this unknown YouTuber on her show. This is the second show that I've been on. So clearly I'm over the target, as she would say.
things were crazy. And, oh, Candace is crazy. Max Blumenthal's crazy. He also reported this. Everyone's lying. That's not true. Everything was amazing. Well, the Hamptons debacle came up when I sat down with Erica, and she conceded that, yeah, she was there. I had no idea, by the way, that Erica was there. First time I found out Erica was there was when I was sitting across from Erica.
Well,
I don't know actually
let's
why I
address
wasn't told
this.
that.
This is a bot. I almost guarantee you this is a bot. This is what I'm seeing. I used to really like you until you went crazy, and now you're beating up on Candace. All right. I don't care. All right. But what I can tell you right now is I can call up Mitch's son right now, and he agrees with me. He does not believe for a second that his dad saw what he saw. He's a veteran too. He knows how these things work, just like he said all throughout that. His own son discredits him. Just the fact that we know he was detained, we know he was there, that does not prove the story. I don't know how many times I got to use the analogy. I can go out in the woods right now, claim that I saw Elvis, take a picture of me in the woods, and then say, look, this is proof that I was in the woods and I saw Elvis. It's completely illogical. It's dumb. Like, and yet that's enough for you people because you're so desperate for this narrative to be true. It's desperation and stupidity and gullibility.
Earlier. Anyways, the point being is that she was there and she conceded that, yes, the Israel thing came up, and just as the people told me that his perspectives on Israel were being challenged. And then she said, yeah, I was there when Bibi Netanyahu called. Okay. How come no one has confirmed that? There's a piece of me that is angry about the fact that I have been telling the truth, and I feel like I have been being gaslit about that. And no one has tossed me a little bit of rope, right? Hey, Candace, you're out there. She's telling the truth. Bibi Netanyahu called. Erica says that Erica told me that, but she said, but he did not offer to take Turning Point to the next level. And I said, really? She said, yeah, I don't know who your source is on that, but that part's not true. He did call, but that part's not true. So what I told her, what I think shocked her, was that my source on that, which I had never previously revealed to the public, was Andrew Colvett. It was Andrew Colvett who told me that Bibi Netanyahu offered to take Turning Point to the next level, and that Charlie Kirk said no. Did he go rogue again? I don't know. I said I find it very weird that Andrew would make that up. And then I was sort of told, like, well, maybe it happened a different time or whatever. Maybe when she wasn't there. It was pretty specific that it happened. And then I said, and I confirmed that with two other people. One person who I'm not going to give the clue about on the show because it.
Yeah, look, independent Gen X here. I'm with you, bud. Trump is the best president I've seen in years. Couldn't agree more. Look at the level of things that we're getting done. Gray Hughes was just calling me. I don't know if he's in the chat or not. Anyways, so he is the best president. I've said this, like, can we all agree that if Trump didn't do anything for the rest of his term, but he shut down the border the way that he has, like, we are light years ahead of where we were a year ago. And by the way, and I think it's worth doing, I pulled up his list of accomplishments that for some reason nobody wants to talk about. Look, there's so much to criticize about the Trump administration. All right. There's plenty there, but it is 1,000 times better than the Biden administration or what would have been a Kamala Harris administration or what will be potentially a Gavin Newsom administration. Like, we are light years ahead. There are things that I disagree with. There are people in his cabinet that I don't like. But we're much better off for sure. TPUSA has to combat her specific claims with evidence line by line item, dismantle the story. Otherwise, their silence will be weaponized by Candace. Enough. I agree with this. So they were actually planning a show basically the day of, the whole thing that, they presented to Candace, hey, if you want to come on, that's exactly what they were going to do, is they were going to go line by line and attack all this stuff. And then she said she was going to come, and that whole controversy, and guess what? She ended up forcing Erica to come to her because that's how petty that she is and what a narcissist she is. And then Erica obliged, went to her gracefully. All of these things that she still has issues with, she had the opportunity to go through, sit down with Erica. She needed to freaking get Andrew Colvett in the room with her. That could have happened as well. They could have went line by line by line. Or if her and Erica sat down and talked through these things and there was still items not addressed, then they could have called in Andrew later that day. Like, I bet Erica Kirk would have stayed right there in Tennessee and or even got on a phone or group chat or whatever with Andrew. But she was given the opportunity to go through this. And the problem is that most of the things that she had issues with, like Mikey McCoy acting weird, a couple of the other things that Erica did address and convincingly, like given Mikey McCoy's entire call log for her to see that Mikey McCoy wasn't calling anybody. That should have ended it there. That was what all of this entire narrative of lives was really built on. Like, this is proof. She's been saying that for months, that Mikey McCoy acted so weird. And, what he did, he was clearly on the phone with somebody else confirming that, Charlie was dead, essentially. That's kind of the allegation or the insinuation. But then she left there, and she's now created a bunch of whole new controversies when she had an opportunity to address all of those face-to-face with Erica. She didn't do it because that wouldn't allow her to continue this. And then she came up with this whole Fort Huachuca thing, which she already had the story. She could have asked Erica right then and there, hey, were you at Fort Huachuca September 8th, the night at the Candlewood Suites? She didn't do that. I mean, I think that tells you all you need to know. Gary, can you confirm the pic you shared of Erica, of the kids are Erica's? Even though we couldn't see the picture of the kids, the face, the boy did not look like a baby. Can you ask about that? I can. I don't think that is her son. Understand, this is at TPUSA headquarters in the morning. All right. I do know that staff bring their kids and everything else and they're playing. And that's what I think that is. I don't think that's her son. That was never the claim. Andrew said that in the picture, like that's her kid. I didn't think about it at the time. I think the daughter is hers, Gigi, and I think the son, that boy is somebody else's kid. That's what I think. And so no one ever specifically claimed that. I understand there's some confusion, and that's how this whole thing is played out, is like you give people answers and they dice through there and like, oh no, that's not good enough. Just like with Cabot Phillips, he gave her the picture, a receipt, metadata, and now like, oh, the metadata is not good enough. He wasn't actually there. It goes on and on and on. The grift can't be stopped. I meant that maybe the meeting with the government officials was TPUSA asking for help, not trying to plan. No, Laura, there was nobody from TPUSA at Fort Huachuca. On top of that, Fort Huachuca is Border Patrol operations. That they don't do PSD work. There wouldn't be any coordination with them with Task Force Southern Border, Joint Task Force Southern Border. It's not what they do. All right. And there are elements within the military that are tasked with PSD. That's primarily military police. They have different units that are specifically trained with that. Special operations gets PSD's training as well. Like these conventional forces that are going to be tasked to Joint Task Force southern border that wasn't there. Like there was nobody there from TPUSA. Didn't happen. So, I mean, the whole thing is just bizarre. Gavin Newsom just glazed Tim Walz on X. I'll have to check that out. That's always funny. TPUSA doesn't have to prove anything except that Candace is slandering them. It's insane that people demand information they don't have the right to. I agree. And most importantly, not only is it insane that Candace demands it, but that people entertain it. Both her viewers, like this goes to us self-regulating our rights. We have a right to a freedom of speech, but there should be some sort of decorum that we expect out of one another, just like I believe in the Second Amendment. What I don't believe is that people should be able to go out and just bring guns and just shoot them haphazardly. And that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing the Second Amendment and someone's voice being weaponized and again, this is something that we used to not tolerate at all. Like we used to not tolerate the idea that you could just slander people or accuse them of crimes without evidence. It's not something that people used to put up with. Now, not only is it encouraged, it's incentivized and monetized. And people are waiting the next day for the next show to hear more.
It would reveal a source that was not related to Andrew Colvett, who confirmed that very same thing. And there's no way Andrew would have known anything about that source. He was not communicating. He was not that source's source. Somebody else at that dinner was. And then I confirmed it for a third time with somebody that is very close to Andrew Colvett, that he said that he lost a lot of money when Charlie said no to Bibi Netanyahu. That's your punishment, Andrew. Truth. So now you can respond to reporters asking the questions. That's what you get. Don't lie in my name. Don't direct people to attack me. I'm done with all of it this year. Now, regarding the Fort Huachuca story, I now very much believe there is something here. So I reached out immediately after this moment where Andrew goes mask down. I reached out to Andrew Colvett directly, and I reached out to the COO. And in good faith, I said, hey, I am happy to communicate the facts to my audience. You don't need to submit your alibi to some obscure YouTuber. You don't have to have Alex Jones go after me or attack me. We were just interested in the truth. We didn't know where this was going to end. And I
think I'm going to change my channel name to Obscure YouTuber. Or maybe I'll start another channel, Obscure YouTuber.
I had a phone call, not with Andrew Colvett, a good phone call.
Again, do we not see what she's doing here, folks? She is blackmailing them into giving her information that she has no right to. Like, all you got to do is just give it directly to me. You're not giving it to some obscure YouTuber. Like, you give it to Queen Candace. Give me what I want, and I'll stop accusing you of shit that I have no evidence for. That's what's happening here. And she's pissed off that Andrew, I mean, you can hear her seething about it. Andrew sent this obscure YouTuber information that she didn't get. That's what she's pissed off. She's pissed off that Brian Harpole sent me information, the obscure YouTuber, and didn't send to her. Didn't even reply to her text after she already accused him of being at Fort Huachuca. And she wonders why she gets zero response.
I do think thus far Justin Strife has maybe been the only person that has been well-intended. And he's not on social media, so he kind of stays above the fray, and he was trying to understand what happened, and I explained to him that I was now pissed off.
I'm pissed off.
That I viewed this to be
nobody cares.
A violation.
Nobody cares how pissed off you are. Nobody cares what you do. Nobody cares how much you have been coordinating all of this stuff to push your narrative from the very beginning, from like week 2. We have a whole link chart of people that have been involved in this. And then because, Andrew Colvett, I reach out to Andrew Colvett, get information. Now this is like some big conspiracy. And then on top of that, because she pushed the Fort Huachuca nonsense that it's just a bridge too far for even her supporters. She's lost so much support from celebrity supporters like Evan Kilgore. Not really necessarily he's a celebrity, but obviously he's a big person, a big account on X, among many others. She's lost them because it's so ridiculous. And now because she went on a bridge too far, and she's losing support, it's some big conspiracy against her. No, it's like, we've just had enough. This just proves that everything else you've done is utter nonsense, like the Egyptian planes, like the French Foreign Legion, like the Israeli assassins, like the maroon shirts, like the honeybees, like all of it. It just proves it's all dumb. It's all, you know what? I'm not even going to use that term. She ruined the word gay for me. I was very happy it was coming back. Now I won't even use it. I don't know if I read this earlier or not, Domsey, but you deserve another read anyhow. TPUSA doesn't have to prove anything except Candace is slandering them. It's insane that people demand information they don't have the right to. Cantard is only doing this to get TPUSA to sue, so she would get subpoena power to all the records, egging them on just keep holding the line, TPUSA. There is some of that. And here's the thing, you know, let's be real. TPUSA is a massive organization. I think they have over, somebody check me on this, but I think they have over 1,000 employees. And they would get access to all of their emails probably for the past year. And they would be able to dig up dirt or slanderous things or be able to take things that they said, put it out of context, and just damage them some more. So yeah, even though everything's above board, if you dig through a company full of 1,000 people, they'll be able to take something and turn it into something that's not. We understand how that works. And there's some real truth to that. It's super annoying when people start jumping on you like you're accusing when I was simply asking a question that I had. Chill, people. Okay. Super annoying when people start jumping on you like you're accusing when I was. Okay. Yeah, don't do that in the comments, folks. Be nice to one another. Not too obscure if she's talking about you. Let her talk. It only helps. LOL. She's dope. She's a dope. Looks like a severe case of the left outs. She does have a severe case of the left outs.
Of our ceasefire, okay? And he said to me that he would get me a message from Erica that was her quote unquote alibi, if we're calling it that. I never demanded an alibi again. But that this was a conversation between her and Charlie about dinner, about them making dinner during that time frame when Mitch believes that he saw her on Fort Huachuca, at the Fort Huachuca base at the hotel. So it would be impossible, obviously, if this is a conversation on the 8th between Charlie.
I'm going to rewind. I just want to make sure I'm clear.
I'm done with all of it this year. Now, regarding the Fort Huachuca story, I now very much believe there is something here.
Went back too far.
That this was a conversation between her and Charlie about dinner, about them making dinner during that time frame when Mitch believes that he saw her on Fort Huachuca, at the Fort Huachuca base at the hotel. So it would be impossible, obviously, if this is a conversation on the 8th between Charlie and Erica, for her to have also been on the base, conversation about dinner. He did send me that message, but the contact name was blacked out. So I said, do you mind, just sending me, you can unblock the contact name, obviously, because I know Charlie's number. So, and he said, we thought you were going to release that to the public and we don't want Charlie's nickname to be shown. And I said, well, don't worry about that. I'm not going to release the message. I think the public trusts me. I'm not going to release the message. If I say I saw it and confirmed it, they would trust it, but I need I need to see Charlie's name. Could you just send me the quick video of her opening that? And I've not received that since. Okay. So that was, a while ago. I followed up about 4 times. I still have not received that. So I cannot confirm that conversation took place between her and Charlie. I'm interested in confirming it. I'm interested in confirming it because I feel like something's there. I just sense, you know what, to use an expression that Daily Wire apparently loves. We don't know now, but I think we know. Something happened at Fort Huachuca. And tomorrow we're going to dive deeper. We're going to talk about Cabot Phillips. We're going to talk about
Never
Mark
ends,
Amadei.
Wait,
actually, I
there's
do
more.
believe that Mark Amadei,
Tune in
and again,
tomorrow.
remember, regarding Cabot Phillips and Mark Amadei, I was not contacted about them initially. He gave me descriptions of the people that he saw, and I started sending him faces. I do think that I do know who he saw.
That's exactly
that was a congressman, and it was not Mark Amadei. So we're going to get into that. It's going to get very interesting because a lot of pieces are coming together for me. Anyways, that is a lot to say.
Let me go back
to
here.
recap that because I am yeah, I am just feeling like a ceasefire was violated, and I think that's fair. I think that is fair. So we will take a brief break and come back and answer some of your comments. All right, you guys, this year, a lot of us are setting the same goal.
All right. Well, I've had enough. I can only take so much. That was literally worse than re-listening to old Mitch's phone call with me. I don't know. And she's saying that violated a ceasefire. So claiming that Erica Kirk was on Fort Huachuca, tying TPUSA and Erica Kirk specifically to this meeting that supposedly was being had to discuss the assassination of Charlie Kirk, that's not a violation of a ceasefire. That's acting in good faith. I mean, this chick is so self-righteous that it's not even funny. Boggles my mind. Let me hit some more of these super chats, and then we'll try to get to some of the live ones. If only she focused on building like CK did. Instead, she's just focused on total destruction. Thank you for your service. Thank you. You should call Grayback. I love that guy. Great show, by the way. I actually just sent him a text. I invited him to jump on if he wanted to. He said, sure. So if he's near a studio, we'll see him on in just a moment. Nidra Smith, free speech used to get your ass kicked. It was a lie, works to stop some of it. If it was a lie, works to stop some of it. I agree. And Nidra, you will always go down in history as my very first subscriber on X. So thank you very much. We appreciate you. And then we appreciate the support. Mitch is a moron. He'll be found out. Pisses me off. The Candy Cult still raising money for this clown. $200,000 is what they've raised for this pathological liar. Maybe Candy is actually an AI chat bot. She certainly hallucinates enough. That's a good one, actually. That's some AI humor. Looking fresh, Gary. You've been putting peanut butter in your French toast. I can tell. I haven't, but I'm still going to try it. We're not a big French toast family here, but I will tell you, I just recently went to IHOP, and I don't even remember what it was, but it was some of the best French toast I'd ever had. And I usually don't like, IHOP French toast. I did have some good French toast at another restaurant recently too. The evil on her is so clear. God bless you for your service to our country and for standing up for Charlie. You're welcome. And that's what I'm here to do. I just couldn't stand sitting by doing nothing when she's clearly trying to destroy everything that he built. Read the book, Active Betrayal by Matthew Dunn. Candace is using the plot points in chapter 2. They mention the French Foreign Legion in chapter 10. They have colonels in a briefing room discussing an assassination. I will do that. Look who we got on go. Oh God, we got a lot of echo.
Oh wait, hold on, let me. Okay.
Test one, two. I hear two of me.
I have to put echo cancellation on. Is it better?
Yeah, no, that's great. Zip through these super chats real quick, Gray, and then I want to hear your assessment on that beautiful show that we just watched. I want to put this back up for just a second too. I'm gonna write that down. And it's The Act of Betrayal by Matthew Dunn. I want to check that out. That'd be funny, and it wouldn't be surprising at all.
I actually couldn't tell. I wasn't watching your show right before, so
that's all right.
I don't know what you're referring to.
Oh, no, yeah. I'm not referring to anything that this person just commented. She said, read the book, The Act of Betrayal by Matthew Dunn. Candace is using the plot points in chapter 2. They mentioned the French Foreign Legion in chapter 10. They have colonels in a briefing room discussing the assassination. Unless you have firsthand experience on how crazy people sow tales, it's easy to see how people can be fooled by her. I'll get that. I get that. What was the additional information, proof that you mentioned that you received about Brian Harpel that supports his alibi? Well, I'll just tell you, his fiance has parking tickets and parking the parking stub and everything from the airport, as well as a couple other things that would identify her personal information. Look, Brian Harpole wasn't there. The whole thing's just crazy. And I will tell you, there's other reasons that he is not going to show any more information or try to prove his innocence to her. Thank you, Dom C, very much for the memberships. You were such a great supporter. We appreciate you. You give away memberships and super chats left and right, and we appreciate it. Last week, when Candace hosted a Space Index, she said that Mitch told her to keep the money until everything he said is proven to her. She is keeping the money she's raising for Mitch. Did you know? I've heard her say this. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means like if he doesn't prove everything, then she's going to give the money back to the people that donated, or she's going to take it and do something else with it. What she should be doing, what the moral thing to do, is to send it to his kids and abused ex-wives, his children and his wives that have never gotten child support at all. So, I mean, that's what I suggest. And then I think on top of that, she should be a good person and match those funds as well. Because he owes them a lot of money. All right, Greg, what was your take on all that?
Well, the parts that I watch, it's just, I mean, she makes these faces like, okay, here we go. And there's nothing there. Like, the part that you shared accidentally, what point did that prove of hers? You know,
in her mind, what that proved was that Andrew Colvett was my handler.
Oh, I see. I wasn't supposed to share that part.
Yeah. No, and what he was talking about was don't share the photo.
Yeah.
And again, I had sent him that text. I was getting back there preparing, and I sent him a text like, "Hey man, do you have any of this information?" I actually forgot about it. I was on live and I looked over at my phone and I just seen that he had sent this picture. I just thought that he wanted me to share that. Didn't read it very quick. I screenshot it, threw it up there. I should have been more careful. It was a dumb mistake on my part.
Yeah, I think we've all done that.
Yeah,
I mean, it just happens.
I'm only human. I'm working on that. I ordered metal legs. I'm going full cyborg for 2026. But you know, the point is like that's some big gotcha. As is the whole thing with his son coming on. I don't know if you saw that clip. His son came on to tell me about all this stuff. I talked to him twice on the phone. He had told me that his dad. He told me that this guy that he doesn't even know. But anyways, the MPs called him. I already knew this, and they're acting like that was some big reveal, which also proves he was there. And they called him at 12:30, which further clarifies or reinforces and corroborates the fact that this report says this event happened at 11 a.m. 11:17 is when they called the cops. The earliest this could have been is like 11:10 a.m. given the narrative that they provide. So, like,
I guess that's one of those things. I wasn't really following that part of the what was it 11:17? Is that this that whole narrative about that fort and stuff? I didn't.
Let me see if I can find this real quick.
I didn't follow it.
Well, entertain the masses while I look this up.
All right, should I make some faces or what do you want me to do?
You need to juggle. You need to do something. You know what? Tell everybody just your take on this whole thing. What's your thoughts? We want to.
I just think it's
great use.
I think it's just pure insanity. Here's all you got to know right here. Just think about this for a second. All of these theories. There's a new theory. Every week there's something new, some new thing on it, and then she goes on a 2-week vacation. I mean, let me ask you guys something. If you knew for certain that you were onto something so incredible, would you even think of taking a vacation? I mean, I don't take vacations and I don't have anything like that. I just do shows and I do shows and I do shows. But why would she go on a vacation with this this just absolutely world-changing information and you take off? That is absolutely ludicrous. Who cares if she has kids?
Yeah.
This is way more important than kids or anything, man. This is world-changing stuff. I mean, obviously your kids are important. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, in terms of work, you would still take care of your kids. You just wouldn't go on a vacation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me get the right view here. All right. So she submitted this. Somebody sent this to her. claiming, and she submitted this to the public saying this is proof of Mitch's entire story. So just the fact that he's there is proof that, that he walked into the secret meeting. So it says on Tuesday, 09 September 2025 at 11:17 hours, the Fort Huachuca Military Police Station was notified by Daniel Head of a suspicious individual on the Southwest Border Mission Headquarters. Officer Navarro, Officer Johnston, and Sergeant McCaslin were dispatched. Upon arrival, patrol spoke with CW2 Daniel Head, who stated that the individual entered the building with a backpack, making concerning comments. The backpack was taken away and placed outside on the north side of the building, and then they called the police station to report the incident. So here's what happened. This person walks into the headquarters with a backpack making concerning comments. The backpack was taken away, placed outside on the north side of the building, and then they called the police station. So how long do you think that amount of time is needed to cover that portion of the narrative? What, 3 to 5 minutes at most? Something like that? Well, they say right after that, they called the police, and that was at 11:17. She claims, or Mitch Snow claims, that he walked in at 07:37. So there's a 3-hour plus difference in time here. He wasn't in that building. They didn't keep him in that building for 3 hours and wait for 3 hours for them to call the police. You know what I mean?
But what does it have to do with the Kirk assassination?
Well, the whole claim is that that he walked in on the planning session of the U.S. military down at Fort Huachuca at Joint Task Force Southern Border, which is a conventional military unit that handles the border, and they were planning this attack on the assassination of Charlie Kirk 2 days later. Or basically 1 day later. So that's the claim. That's what's going on here.
I mean, but see, here's the thing is, like, somebody makes a claim like that, and we have to spend time, or you do. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but you have to debunk it. Like, but it's almost impossible, but somehow you guys were able to sort of do it. I mean, it's hard to debunk conspiracy theories because somebody will say, they'll take a fact, claim it means something, and then you have to tell them how it's not true. And they explain it. But the truth is the burden is on them. They should be the one that has to go out and prove to the public. But for some reason, people like Candace Owens, they can claim anything they want and people just believe it. And she doesn't need proof of anything. And she always says she has proof, but it was always, I've got a great source. It's my cousin's uncle's aunt's dog walker's best friend. And trust me, this is really clear stuff.
You know? Yeah. And I have a source that told me. I mean, that's all that's needed with all this stuff. And that's the crazy part.
Yeah. And you have to go out and do all these interviews and get all these people to disprove a claim, right? She doesn't have to do anything.
No. And then on top of that, it's still not good enough for anybody on her side. Look, the reason that we do the shows that both of us, you and me, do is we are reaching the sensible among us. You know, we're not here to try to win her people over. I don't even want her people. Now, with that being said, if we convert to some of those over, great. I'm glad. Hey, you know what? Join the sane crowd over here. We're the cool kids with brains. We want you to get out of the Candace cult. All right. But that's like, and the other thing that we do is like, we put this information out there so people can see different sides of this and then see how, you know, they have a compare and contrast between reality and just make believe. And, you know, that's what we're here to do. I am not fooling myself in thinking that we are going to prove to the Candace crowd that she's wrong. I mean,
well, she's never even been there. I mean, the thing is, we both went there and we kind of did our own thing, but we sort of met up sometime, you know, like, hey, look, we're over here. And, you know, you were focused on getting the drone footage, interviewing different people. And I was walking around the neighborhoods. You know, I mean, I think we did some amazing stuff. Like, I mean, I got all that footage from that house that showed Tyler Robinson walking a lot further, and the car driving, and then the filming of the fingerprints coming off the roof, and we got all that stuff. And once you're there, you can just see how easy it is, because every single time that you walk the route that Tyler Robinson took, nobody stops you, nobody says anything, and you can walk right up onto the roof, right where you just stepped over a wall and ran over and shot.
Yeah.
Right. It's one of the easiest things. I mean, it's almost ludicrous how easy it is.
It really is.
I mean, you would think there would be some kind of, I mean, they probably weren't just thinking about, oh my God, somebody's going to climb over and run across the roof and shoot somebody. It's always Monday morning quarterback and stuff like that. But it's crazy how all around campus on roof-like areas, there's places where people can walk. And then there's this little tiny wall that you just go over. Now you're on the actual roof of the building, Yeah. And I don't know. I just try to tell people it's so simple that, I mean, I guess that's what makes it difficult for people to believe. But if you go there, you would see it,
It is. And then the other thing, one of my biggest takeaways from that is how ridiculous so much of the other theories, the conspiracy theories were. Like, oh, this person was over on this roof or this place over here. When you see how close everything actually is,
right?
It's so much smaller in person, and you have such clear visibility of everything. There's no chance that there was all these people tucked away in corners or up on a balcony or whatever else. So yeah,
What about Plant Man? You don't think Plant Man could have been? I'm just kidding.
I don't think Plant Man did it.
Well, yeah. I mean, all of that stuff. Here's the thing: is once you just hear it, you already just know it's absurd. But then you still have to look at it because they're going to just keep saying it over and over and over again.
Yeah. I do want to address this. It says Washington driver's license start with WDL. Now, look. I said this on the very first time that I showed this, like, okay, this could be real, this report. It could be that they just transposed things wrong. Like it says W0L. It could have been WDL. I don't necessarily doubt that this is like fake. It's somebody needs some retraining. All right. They need a little bit more attention to detail if you're going to start making some, incident reports like this. So they got some things wrong. With that being said, let's say I believe that this is real. All right. That incident didn't take place at 0737. Everything here says it happened around 11 a.m., 3 hours later than what she's saying. So that's the biggest takeaway with her proof that she submitted. So
yeah, but I got to tell you, I've read so many probable cause documents and police reports, and there's errors all the time. Little things like that, like, oh, there wasn't a W on the front of where it says DL. I mean, it's just the way it is, man.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to explain it, but people want to make a deal over a little thing like that. I guess that's why you have to be absolutely perfect, but we're not robots. So people make little insignificant mistakes. Like, why does it matter really? Something like that.
I just want to address this. Yes, has been proven it wasn't 30-06. That's not true. All right. No, nothing's been proven as 30-06. It was a 30-06. We're going to find out more information. Here's what I'll say. We can't say it wasn't a 30-06. Definitely hasn't been proven 30-06. So again, we're going to have to wait for more information about the ballistics.
I think it just comes down to what kind of bullet it was.
It really does. What type of ammunition, what was going on with that ammunition. There's like, I now have so many pictures that hunters have sent me of like shooting a rabbit with a 30-06 with a varmint round where it didn't exit. Like, quit pretending that 30-06 is just some freaking,
No, listen to Candace. She said that if you use a frangible bullet, it vaporizes. The bullet actually turns into a vapor.
Yeah.
What the hell does that even mean?
Well, look, so what she's talking about, and what some people, she clearly talked to somebody that knows just enough to get themselves in trouble. So there are, and we sell it. All right. There's ammunition, including some rifle ammunition that you can get. It's called center fire frangible bullets. And that's SINTER, center. And what that is, sintering is a process where they take literally powdered metal, they compress it into the shape of a bullet under, tens of thousands of PSI. And it will leave a projectile. And what it does is when it hits steel, this is specifically for hitting steel targets, it will basically just turn into powder.
So let's say there are some that,
but that is just one type of 1,000 different
frangible. Right. But how many different frangible? Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So it's like she didn't say that though.
Every varmint round out there is some type of frangible round. It's what they're designed to do. Immediately break up, cause extensive damage, dump all the energy into the target. It could be frangible. It could be something else. It could be a completely unstabilized round with extreme yaw, which would also kind of explain the atypical entrance wound.
That's been my theory the whole time, is that it came out, it just did, just happened to go straight-ish, maybe it missed off the target. That's why it hit him in the neck. Maybe he was going for the head, and it just tumbled, went boom, right through the neck. And that's why there's so much
and again, it's all those things are possible. Like but we're all just sitting around,
we don't know.
Just speculating. I feel bad for Erica. I hate that she's had to deal with this while she's grieving. I think maybe some things are being revealed about some close to him, but has nothing to do with the assassination. I'm not even seeing that. Look, and I've looked at this as objectively as I possibly can. And then, like, again, for the first 2 months of this, I was perfectly fine with TPUSA being behind all this stuff. And then I was just like, okay, look, they're just making mountains out of molehills. They're trying to drag this stuff up. I talked to other people that I knew that were experts in accounting. I just recently had Robert Barnes on. We talked about the accounting that goes on with TPUSA as a charity. Like, they're trying to, look, this is a defamation and smear of TPUSA. And the real motivation behind this is once Charlie was dead, we wanted TPUSA to fold up tent and go home. And they're not doing it. It's not going to happen. They've continued to grow. Yeah, they've been dealing with a lot of stuff, but the fact is their donations are up. I know that's going to piss a lot of people off. They're damaging their reputation, but they're not damaging their ability to raise funds, which is what they do. They have just as much financial support as ever.
I think that part's the most disturbing. It's like turning point right after he was killed. I don't think it was ever higher in the minds of people, sadly. But it was like, man, they had such great momentum, and then Candace Owens destroyed all of that and made a whole different. Even though there's money coming in, the perception of a lot of people out there has totally changed because of her, and it's complete BS.
Yeah. I want to address this comment. I don't think Mitch got into the base proper. I think he was just in a tourist area. That's probably why the MPs were called. He was acting sketchy, trying to get into areas he wasn't supposed to be. So once you're on base, now I haven't been on every base in the U.S. and it's been a while since I've been on a base, but I've been on, I don't know, probably 10, 15 different U.S. military installations. And once you're on, you're on. Like, you can even go walk into any of these buildings. You can go to, a lot of times, even the compound at First Group. But there's a lot of times where you can just drive into the compound at First Special Forces Group and go right up to First Special Forces Group headquarters, and you will walk into basically, a greeting area. It's where the staff duty desk is. But the point is if they're going to have secure meetings, those are in skiffs, either somewhere in that building in the back where they have a sensitive compartmentalized information facility. Everything is like, you're not getting in there, right? Or sometimes they'll have a skiff that's set up on its own. But the point here is, like, he didn't walk into any secret meeting. He wasn't going to witness people even leaving a secret meeting. So I don't doubt that he walked into Joint Task Force Southern Border headquarters and went to the staff duty. Like, if you're on base, you can be a civilian. They're going to ask you, just like they did, like, what are you doing in here? Like, you have no purpose for being here. And clearly he said some stupid things. I have been in all these types of headquarters, And it would take a lot for someone to get the reaction of like, hey, take them out of the building right now, put his backpack on the side of the building and call the MPs and bring bomb sniffing dogs. That's what took place. That takes a lot. So, you know, there's portions of this that, you know, I get it.
Hey, Happy New Year, by the way.
You too, buddy.
Yeah. Hope it'll be a good one. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Did you get everything you wanted or just what you paid for?
Yeah, I mean, I think I paid for all my gifts. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, this is part of the problem with this and why it has to be turned into a conspiracy is a lot of people just can't grasp the fact there was a deranged young man was able to pull this off. It has to be some gigantic conspiracy because one man couldn't do it. She said this is about Luigi Maggiani and Brian Koberger as well, which I know at least, I don't know how familiar you are with the Luigi case, but I know you're very intimately familiar with the Brian Koberger case, which folks, by the way, if you're not following Gray Hughes Investigates, make sure you guys go follow him over there. He does some of the best breakdowns of events. I mean, just a masterpiece of what, you know, he's phenomenal at what he does. So, and he's a solid, logical thinker.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the Koberger case is there's still people right now that think he's innocent, even though he all the evidence pointed to him and it was crystal clear, like literally, like, oh my God, he did it. And then he confessed to doing it. Mm-hmm. And he even, you know, pled guilty and gave up his right to appeal the case ever. And they still think, oh, he didn't do it.
Yeah.
It's like, what, really? I mean, come on. There's no way he would do that.
Well, what is crazy to me is all these people that are basically trying to do everything they can to make sure that Tyler Robinson isn't held accountable and trying to say that he's not guilty.
Yeah, and I've told you this before. The Tyler Robinson, the case against Tyler Robinson is literally one of the strongest cases I've ever seen in the entire, 10 years or so I've been doing true crime YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally just, wow. I mean, every single thing. He wasn't as smart as he thought he was. I mean, I guess, here's the thing. If he'd worn gloves and he didn't put the gun in the woods, and he had a better, like a COVID type mask on, this might have been really tough.
Yeah. Well,
because,
I think, just shut up. All right. We're not going to insult people. Who cares?
Did I get dissed again? I always get dissed in here.
Candace connection to the British government need to be investigated. It needs to be asked if they got to Tyler Robinson to off Charlie. Candace was in love with him, couldn't deal with Erica winning. Look, it would not, again, I have no evidence of this. This is just me speculating. Let me get a tinfoil hat over here. I do think that the British, as we've seen with the Steele dossier, among other things that they've done to try to discredit Trump and how they've been implicated in the lawfare against Trump, it would not surprise me at all if they were pushing some of this and they were part of the Psyop to ultimately discredit the Trump administration and to help fracture the right. They're very good at psychological operations, as are there lots of people out there. Even the political left, the George Soros types. Look, there's whole think tanks with extremely brilliant people that know how to manipulate people through social media and everything else. And that's what we're seeing with this. And just like we saw time and time again, some of the evidence of that to me is every time that Candace accuses people of the exact same thing that she's doing. And she's accusing people of coordinating against her. All she has done from the beginning, this has been one big coordination between her and all of her surrogates, pushing this content out, causing chaos, causing deception amongst the American people. That's what she's been doing. So I don't know what to say about that. Let me just double check to make sure there was no more Wolves in Finance. Tyler Boyer. I don't know. I've heard about that. I've been meaning to check that out. We'll check it out. What I will say is basically I do know that they're accusing Tyler Boyer of doing basic estate planning. I'll have to look into it to look at the details before I completely write it off. But I'm not going to lie. I'm a little biased against some of the other stuff I have seen that has been debunked by Wolves in Finance, but I will try to look at it objectively. And if you want to hear my thoughts on it, I'm not a finance guy. You know, I don't play one on TV either, but I will take a look at, see what they have to say. And then if I need to bring back Robert Barnes on to go through that, be happy to. Let's hit a couple of last, maybe, that's Gray, you did see today where I was the first to post it, but it's been posted several times because my producer found it last night, where Mitch is now claiming that his father was the Zodiac killer.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Probably. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't see what that is.
This is what
What's
I have
that?
found more than once. Wolves and Finance has proven he will report without all the facts. That is exactly true. And Robert talked about that. Robert Barnes, who is a pretty straight shooter, talked about that at length the other night. If you think Candace is doing all this damage by putting these stories out, then why feed into them and amplify them for hours at a time? I'm not. This is a counter to counter those lies and to show why those things are lies. I'm just asking questions, the Beanie Baby.
Yeah, just asking questions.
Just asking questions.
You know what's funny? She always says that, but that's not what she's doing at all.
No.
She's absolutely implying straightforwardly. And she's gotten way worse, in terms of her I mean, she's just so like her comments against Jewish people. It's not like you're just against Israel. She's literally blaming. What did she blame him for? Slavery and all this kind of stuff. And it's just
when there's lots of footage of her previous where she's talking about how slavery actually began and was propagated throughout Europe and everything else by Arabs and a whole bunch of other things. So
yeah, it's whatever fits for the day. But you know what? The scary part about Candace Owens is she's very articulate, pretty, and she just literally, when she says something, it sounds like, wow, she's really telling us the truth the way she talks, but it's not. That's the scary part. It's I think she's very narcissistic, and but she's so good at selling something. And it's bullshit.
She can state absolute lies with a lot of conviction, and then she'll talk about things that she knows nothing of with a lot of conviction. And those are the most dangerous people.
I always tell people, so there's cases that I know really well, and then you hear somebody go out and they say something about it, and they're completely wrong, but they're telling all their viewers, and their viewers are like, oh my God, that's crazy. And I know what the truth is. So then I go, all those other times I listened to this person thinking that they knew what they were saying, I don't know if I can ever trust them again, because I now know this case and they're absolutely wrong. And so those other cases I didn't know and I listened to them, was I just believing them because I trusted what they were saying? And now can I really trust whatever they say? Because now I know that they were lying on that case.
Yeah.
And that's what I think people should be doing with Candace, is like when all these things keep getting disproven, and then you should look at it and go, well, what is she saying that's true? Yeah.
Well, like Wonderfully Made says, her projection is crazy. All her insults to people are literally the exact same things people say about her. It's true. Doo-doo on fire. You just conveniently are ignoring all the red flags from the day of Charlie's murder. Concentrating on one of the leads to discredit everything is so obvious was from day one for me. So what's day one for you, Doo-doo on fire, and all my other critics out there? First of all, I entertained it all for at least a month and a half.
He did.
And it wasn't till I'm like, you know what? I'll just listen to what you have to say. Sit back here. I had many people on this show that, from Blake Bednar's Exploding Mics to Zeb Boykin talking about the other shooter over here. Like, all right, let's just talk. Let's just be civil with one another and see where we disagree. And I definitely didn't say anything about Candace. I'll tell you from day one where I knew this was a psyop. When I start going out there and like within a few days, I'm telling people like, hey, you know what? A palm gun is nonsense. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And ballistically, it doesn't make sense. The physics don't make sense. The logistics of it don't make sense. And then people are like, you're a Fed, you're paid by Israel. This is like week 2, if that. And then I go out there and, say, well, this wasn't a camera gun. Here we got a picture. We have a video of the camera while this whole thing is taking place. There's nothing that comes from it. There's no recoil. Oh, and then it's the iPhone gun. No, this is nonsense. Oh, you say the iPhone gun is nonsense? You're a Fed. You're paid by Israel. I hope those shekels are fun. $7,000 a post.
Yeah, when are we getting those checks?
So that's before I was paying attention to what Candace was saying. I didn't know the first thing about Candace until, or really, like, I kept hearing these weird conspiracies. They were never attributed to Candace. And then at some point, probably, I don't know, early November, maybe late October, I realized they were coming from Candace, and I still ignored them. And then probably mid-November, now I'm paying attention. And now I'm like, is this person for real? Like, is this what she's saying? Like, oh, and all these people are believe this? Like, no. And then I kind of address those things indirectly. And then I realized, you know what? That's being a coward. We're going to call her out directly. And I just got so fed up with it because it was so obvious to me what she was doing. Her intentions were to destroy Charlie's legacy. Her intentions were to destroy TPUSA. Her intentions were to destroy the Trump administration, our chances for the midterms, our chances for 2028. And then she had to wrap in Israel, which I don't even really care about, or the French Foreign Legion. Like, it's just strange.
Why do you think she was doing this? Why do you think she wanted to destroy Charlie Kirk's legacy and this kind of stuff?
I think she's bitter. I think she is spiteful and bitter because, look, I think she had admiration for Charlie when she worked there. Who knows? I'm not gonna say that, you know, a lot of people are saying that she had romantic desires. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't really care. And then the people around Charlie, including Andrew Colvett, and this is nothing he shared with you. I'm speculating here. I think the people around Charlie realized how toxic she was. And then they kicked her out. She was there for like 17 months. And then, you know, she was there for 17 months, but yet she claims that she was a Mason of TPUSA, like she was one of the founders. She, you know, built TPUSA, utter garbage. Like, TPUSA was founded in 2012. It's been doing great ever since she left. I think she was extremely bitter. I think she's a spiteful woman.
That's also like Ben Shapiro probably had the same experience with her, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And got rid of her. I think that's, you know, she has this whole story that she came up with about how she was, you know, embarrassed or whatever, but I don't, who knows if that's even true at this point, you know, that's the thing. It's hard to believe anything she says.
No, I agree. Yeah. Look, Candace is the days of our lives for the modern wine moms.
That's about right.
I haven't tried to get hotel lobby footage. Look, I don't believe for a second that Candlewood Suites, who knows if they even have that footage still. They're sure not going to give it to me. What I am interested in is if there was security footage at Joint Task Force Southern Border at that headquarters, whether they have lobby footage, and that we could FOIA potentially.
But what's this whole thing about Mitch? Like, I guess I haven't followed all that stuff. Like, why does it matter if Mitch was somewhere and, you know?
Because again, he just claims that he went down there and saw this thing and it turned into this big conspiracy that the U.S. military was, you know, he walked into a planning session. He said Brian Harpel was there, which is the head of this TPUSA security. He said he saw Erica Kirk there the night before. If you watch the episode where he's telling this, it's just the most unbelievable, dumb story. He said that Congressman Amadei was there. It was proven. They actually pulled up footage where he was in the Congress. You see him on video at the same time that she's saying that he was there. So multiple people have been proven to not be there. Later on, it was Cabot Phillips as well. The whole story was debunked.
So this is that guy that Candace had on, right? He was sort of dark-haired guy with glasses or something.
Yeah.
I think, okay.
Yeah.
He was trying to prove that there was this planning meeting to take out Charlie Kirk, and Erica was there, right? Or something.
Erica was there the night before. But yeah, that's essentially it.
The night before. Oh, dude, this is just. I mean, can't you just debunk stuff off face value when you hear it? Like, that's what I do. I mean, there's just
not
because it's just this is ludicrous, Like,
yeah. Mr. Bot here, just joking. Thanks for speaking the truth. Thank you, Philip Escobar. Candace has been vicariously suing people since she was 17. She has many more lawsuits after that.
She's going to get blown.
Spot on with the last point. Go ahead.
Cool. Thanks. I think she's going to get just absolutely smoked in that lawsuit against the Macrons. I mean, she's just going to lose everything.
I've talked to you about that has said that she is a bankrupt woman walking.
And she doubled down just like a week ago too. Remember that?
Yeah,
crazy.
She just doubled down on this. She just doubled down on this episode. If Candy's claiming that Andrew was angry at Charlie, she should be suspect as well. She hates Charlie, been estranged. She should be looked into as well. I agree. And there's no indication that Andrew hates Charlie or anything else. Just for the record, I'm not a bot. And I was just asking questions that were bothering me. Commenters are brutal. Is there really any issue with me asking questions that I have in the chat that is? No, there shouldn't be. Be nice to everybody.
God, that's an amazing way to make a $10 super chat just on a question like that. That's what I want. I want people just to go, hey.
Be nice to Melissa, folks. All right. That being said, like some of these questions are a little crazy. That, you know what, everybody just be nice. Just be nice. If they're not trolling, here's what I'll say to everybody in the chat and what I try to live by, not always doing so well. If they're not trolling and they're being sincere, even though that you might find that question ridiculous, try to be kind. Show them some patience.
I'm trying to do more of that on my channel, but it's still hard. I have to admit.
He is Charlie's best friend, but doesn't attend his wedding or his funeral. Nah, sis, we see who you are. I support you, Gary. Thank you, Glenn F6639.
It's funny.
Glenn,
she said she's like,
I gotta be honest with you. I don't know what I'm calling you Glenn, but I'm clearly looking at the lips of a chick. I think you got to change one of those. Like you're breaking my brain.
Or maybe that's a guy with lipstick on.
Maybe it is. You know what?
Can you see? I can kind of see that.
Yeah, folks, make sure you like, subscribe. Here's what I'll ask everybody doing. After this video, after we close down this live stream, go back and like the video once it's now an official video on YouTube, as opposed to, because we're getting hit hard by all the Candy Cult members and all the bots. That'll help us out a lot. We're gonna close this down. I wasn't planning on streaming at all, but I thought it was just important to cover that. I knew she was going to talk some smack, and I think doing this is actually very beneficial. Covering her and calling her out in real time, I think, is the way to do it. And quite frankly, it's the only way that I can tolerate listening to her shows to get information of what she's saying and things like that. Great. Any final words of wisdom for people out there?
I just wish that, she has millions of people that watch her show, and I wish they were a little bit more, just be discerning of what she's saying and really critical of what she's saying and try to think about, does it make sense? Because what Candace Owens is doing is actually really dangerous for people, and it's also very bad for the conservative movement because it's split apart many different groups of people, and they're all infighting and battling, and it's just wild. We should be sort of like all on the same page, but we're not. It's not even close.
I agree.
So there you go. I guess that's all I got.
Hey, be discerning, folks. Have some cognitive security, some critical thinking skills. Look, you can ask all the questions you want, but at the end of the day, they got to make sense, and they got to lead somewhere too. Like, where does this all go? Are we? I don't even. And then the other thing that really irritates me about this is if you tell Candace, who starts out her original episode, after you watch this, the U.S. government will have no other choice but to admit the U.S. military was involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. But then you go on, you're like, that wasn't a meeting. There's no way that they were having a meeting planning the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and then her fans will say, well, that's not what she said. No, that's exactly what she's insinuating, but you're just insulting my intelligence, and so is Candace. So she's always leaving herself this slimy, plausible deniability that I find especially disgusting. Like, just go out there and say what you're going to say, because when people sue you, that's not going to cover you. You're not going to be able to say, I didn't really say that. No, you insinuated it, you implied it, you made a statement and threw a question mark on the end of it, and then now you think we're stupid.
That's actually what passive aggressive people do. It's exactly the same technique. They say it in a way where they have an out and say, I didn't say it that. I didn't mean that. I was saying this.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. All right, folks, listen, we appreciate all of you. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. We got one last super chat. I am level-headed, and Candace lost me on her second episode. There you go. If you guys haven't done so already, go like, subscribe over at Gray Hughes. He puts out some great content. I think you'll find it fascinating. Does a great job covering all the details. Very I love watching this stuff, so you guys will too. Thank you for all your support. Like, subscribe, become a member. Go support us over on X. We have subscriptions over there. It's like $6 a month. That goes a long way. But we appreciate you. And until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.